Places to go, really. We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pitodry on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Okay, here we go. 6:03. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. Ally and Ray with you this morning. Good morning, Ray. How are you?
How you doing, Ali?
Excellent. How's your weekend, pal?
Yeah, really, really good.
Give me the rundown.
I've had worse Sundays, Ali, to be fair.
Oh, mate.
No, I had a great weekend.
It was never in doubt, mate, was it?
Not really, no. I mean, I was a little bit nervous going into the game because I thought it's Tottenham, new manager. Yeah, Arsenal dropping points against Wolves, obviously, Brentford. And they're going to go there and choke a little bit more, with Man City winning as well. But from the first whistle, I thought they was right on the front foot, weren't they? First 10 minutes looked like very, very controlling possession.
Showed intent, didn't they, mate?
Yeah, and, got the goals when they needed them. Poor mistake for the Tottenham goal, but straight away Declan Rice holds his hands up, get on with the game. You make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, and I thought Declan was great again yesterday. But yeah, good performances all round. Eze again likes playing against Spurs.
Isn't that amazing though?
It is really amazing. 5 goals, in 2 games, mate. And Gyökeres, best game I've seen him play.
Me too.
With an Arsenal shirt.
Too.
So
we'll talk again. I mean, Spurs have got problems, mate. They've got big
they
problems.
have a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But I thought one thing about Tottenham yesterday, the fans played their part.
Yeah.
They really got behind the team, which, a North London derby you expect, but they really, really... But the players have got to respond to that, surely.
Of course they have, mate.
Of course they have. probably is it that wasn't good enough? I don't know.
I think there's an element of that.
A little bit of
I
that.
thought they looked at golf between the quality and the
Well, you can
sides
see,
yesterday.
you can see why Arsenal are roughly at the top of the table at the moment, and Spurs
City
are where
keep
they
going
are.
though as well, eh?
Yeah, City won't go away. I've always said this.
Wasn't 100%. A couple of good goals, Williams and things like that.
I've
But
always said this will go down to the wire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a season where I know I love Piers, but Piers said they're winning in March, no chance. That doesn't happen in football.
he had them winning everything, man. Pierce said he's winning the general election. I mean,
so it's going to go down to the end, and it's going to be you're going to have knocks along the way for both sides. But yeah, there should be a hell of a run in. Man City, if they win every game, they win the league. That's how they got to look at it.
I know.
They got, obviously, Arsenal go to the Etihad. But look,
here's one for you, right? That game, would you rather it was at home? And it might sound a silly question, right? But all I'm thinking is this: when I've been to the Etihad a few times, Arsenal have been great, but I can feel a nervousness in the stadium, Ray, right?
Yeah.
And I think that can and does transfer onto the pitch. So, in a mad sort of way, honestly, God, mate, I think the difference now playing at home and away isn't as great as it used to be, right? I don't think it's a massive problem.
At the start of the season, you always look at who's going to be your main rivals, and you look at, can you get 4 points? That's how I used to look at it. When Man United was our big rivals, and if you could get 4 points in both games,
it's a good call.
You got a good chance.
Good call.
And look, they've got to go up there, set their stall. On the break, they're always dangerous on the break, Arsenal. But you expect Man City to really have a go being at home. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game, and it's a game that
there's a lot of
could
football.
go either way. Could go either way.
We've played before it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
See, the thing is, Ray, I've looked at Arsenal. I didn't necessarily think the draw at Brentford was a bad result, right? Because I thought that's kind of been proved wrong with the weekend with Brighton winning there. But I just looked. My logic was looking at the run at that particular time Brentford were on. I thought, it's not an ideal result. You want to win your game, but it's not a disaster.
No.
You got to draw. The
Wolves won.
That was the one.
That was the one.
That was the one.
Ellie, you can't be 2-0 up.
No, that was the one.
You've got to see the game out somehow.
That was the one, mate.
And that was the most disappointing part of that. I agree with you a little bit. Brentford, look, they've had a great season so far. They're seventh in the league, so they're there for a reason because they're a decent side. But certainly Wolves 2-0 up against the bottom side. You should be
correct.
Cruising to victory, really.
Well, I mentioned it was a absolutely thrilling weekend of Premier League drama. Eze got another 2 goals against his North London rivals in the derby again. Here's how it sounded live on talkSPORT.
Does it matter what Victor Gyökeres ever does again, because he's just got his second of the game. 2 for Eze, 2 for Gyökeres. Derby delight for the Gunners, who go 5 points clear of Manchester City. Tottenham looking nervously over their shoulders. They're just 4 points clear of the relegation zone.
90th minute match winner for Crystal Palace. Evan gets on with his first for the club. Glasnap's getting booed from the field of play here.
Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. Fulham unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League matches at the stadium alike. Click that up to 6.
We've been here before. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Alexis McAllister, he stomped it in.
I think this could be offside. I really do.
He's given it.
Oh my goodness. Even if Ekitike does not touch the ball, isn't he not involved in that build-up play? Of course he is. He's in an offside position.
It's 9 minutes past 6. And I'm still not going to get involved in refereeing decisions at this particular moment in time. But I'll tell you what, listeners, stay tuned, because it's going to happen at some point. Nicky O'Reilly's brace kept City in the title hunt with a 2-1 victory over Newcastle. Chelsea dropped points at home to Burnley. Excuse me. Liverpool strengthened their push for Champions League football thanks to a late controversial winner from Alexis McAllister. That was an interesting game. I thought when I only watched the highlights, I thought Forest actually played well.
Brilliant, yeah.
But there's only one place we can start, as Arsenal made a title statement again in the North London derby, defeating Spurs 4-1. Incidentally, had 3-1 in McCouten to restore their 5-point lead at the top of the table. Eze was Tottenham's tormentor again. He now has 7 goals in his last 4 games against Spurs since last May. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said he stepped up another level last night.
I mean, he scored 5 goals in the last 2 games against them, which is extremely difficult to do. But I could see that he wanted to prove something. He was upset, even with me, because I didn't play him the other day from the beginning and some of the decisions that I made. And I started to understand how we're going to get the best out of him now.
Okay, Ray. Gyökeres also grabbed a brace. Arteta said it was his best game in a Gunners shirt since his summer arrival in Sporting Lisbon. I think that's a fair comment as well.
Absolutely. I think his movement was much better.
Yeah.
He was involved in more. He looks more of a threat in front of goal. You know, the positions he took up were so much better. If you look at his last goal, just running down that sort of channel, and you know he can cut inside and go for that far corner. I thought the first one was a great goal as well.
I loved his first one, mate.
Really good goal.
I loved his first one.
Good ball into him.
Yeah.
Good first touch. Got
First touch made it for him.
Yeah.
And then he could whip it with that bit of pace, and power to beat the goalkeeper.
So he looks a confident boy like yesterday. Other games I've seen him, and he's looked like he's trying. There's no doubt about it. He tries every game. He gives his all, but he just wasn't clicking. But he clicked yesterday. But you've got to do that on a regular basis, Ali. You can't just do it. You can't just do it in a North London derby. You've got to be doing it
100%.
Every single game. You've got to play your part.
But if you're Arteta and Arsenal, you're just hoping that he's maybe just turned a wee corner.
Absolutely. That will give him a lot of confidence. You know, going away from home, North London rivals, and playing like that. Let's hope he can carry that on. And there's another huge game next week, Chelsea at home.
Oh,
so
man,
you know that, and I don't care. I know Chelsea dropped points at the weekend; they'll be disappointed. They're going for that 4th and 5th place, or even 3rd place. So it's going to be a hell of another London derby next week, which will be another cracker, I'm sure.
Have you got any? I've not got the fixtures in front of me. Who have City got next week?
I just come up on the Elf.
By the way, think about that. Think about the battle down at the bottom as well, mate.
I know.
I mean, I think
Leeds away. The City have got. Who give anybody a game?
You're right, mate.
But that's why we love the Premier League. It's such a competitive league, you know. Fulham going to Sunderland.
Yeah,
yesterday.
thumbing them over.
Great result. I had Sunderland down to win that. I thought they might nick a result there.
So did I, mate.
Fulham, fantastic result for them. Bournemouth are still 8th position, still got a chance for Europe next year. So
I think that's brilliant for them.
Yeah, Brentford 7th. Everybody thought they'd struggle because of the new manager and the manager leaving. So that's why we love the league. It's
You've done some job, Keith Andrews. Tell me, after the result yesterday, Spurs in trouble?
They've got to, of course they're in trouble. I mean, the league doesn't lie, Ali. So you're looking at it, 4 points above the relegation zone. That's nothing, you know. If they lose next, they've got Fulham away next, Tottenham, which is another tough game. You know, after Fulham coming off that win against Sunderland, they'll be looking now, can we somehow get into Europe next year? And it's so competitive in that area to get to top 8 positions. But Spurs, look, they have got a lot of injuries, and the manager's just come in. He looks like he knows what he wants out of the players.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of time, and they maybe turn the corner. But I'd be amazed to see Tottenham go down. I know last year they was poor last year, wasn't they? It's only because the 3 teams who come up wasn't good enough, and they didn't really challenge anybody, Ipswich and Southampton and teams like that. But now West Ham have got that little bit of grit in between the team. Burnley keep battling on, but maybe they're too far
away from me.
I should imagine.
Wolves away, but I tell you what, Tottenham are in it. I mean, they're fine.
West Ham are showing that bit of spirit now. Even Forest would be kicking themselves yesterday. A little bit unlucky.
I think so.
As Arnie Slot said after the game, we got lucky. We got lucky yesterday.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick call. Kevin's giving us a call this morning. He's a very happy Arsenal fan. Kevin, good morning, mate. I take it you're delighted this morning.
Morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Ali. Good morning, Mr. Parlour.
How are you doing?
You buzzing this morning, mate?
Oh, listen, I'm floating. I'm floating. Listen, not about that we're going to win the league, because I told Ray the other day, he said, I spoke to a Bonney-law.
Gabby. Just say Gabby, that's easier.
Right, listen, what's name? The other day, he said his second team's Arsenal, and he didn't stop calling them off, did he?
Oh, anyway, right, yeah.
About last night, what a result.
Comfortable, mate, wasn't it?
Give this geezer the centre forward. What's his name?
Gyökeres. You know your teeth in this morning.
I'm so excited. I'm getting excited. I've been going over the Arsenal since I was 7. That's 60. I'm 67. That's 60 years ago. I used to go to the library.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in the schoolboys enclosure. It cost 6pence.
Magic, Bob. Magic.
Give him time. I've said give this geezer time. He scored 1 million goals in Portugal.
Hey, Kev, you're flying, pal. You enjoy your Monday, mate.
All right, lovely.
Cheers, Kev.
Listen, one question.
Yes.
Did you two appreciate that you as professional footballers?
Oh, you bet.
Absolutely.
Loved it every day, mate.
Yeah.
Pinch myself every morning.
Couldn't believe our luck.
Of course, because there's zillions out there that want to be professional
Correct.
footballers. And you two was.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
Cheers, Kevin.
Lovely, Kevin. Thanks for your call, pal. Happy Monday, right, Arsenal fans?
That's one thing we always, I look back and say, I'm so pleased I've managed to get there.
Same here.
Because, you grow up as a kid and you're always like, And I threw all the eggs were in one basket, Ellie, with me. I left school at 15. So my mum went, what are you doing? I said, well, Mum, I'm going to be a footballer somehow. So... But you had that desire then to be a little bit more than other kids, maybe. So, but yeah, we do thank
every morning, mate. Brilliant. Loved it.
We wouldn't be sitting here earlier.
Correct, mate. That's for sure. Right, Arsenal fans, I want to hear from you this morning. 03717 22344. Was that a perfect pick me up after the Wolves debacle? I'll bet it was. Give us a call.
Got to talk about Celtic. You know the title. I don't. You've been away, right? The title's blown open now. Celtic favourites, Rangers second favourite, Hearts third.
Yeah.
And I've been whinging, right? And maybe I shouldn't because I don't go regular now. But I've been whinging about Celtic's lack of creation in midfield. It really annoyed me. I'm looking in the midfield saying, "Come on, we're better than that." Anyway, they got absolutely gubbed last night. But what I didn't know was, right from the first whistle, the old tennis balls came on.
Yeah. Martin O'Neill said something about it.
All I'm saying is this, right? I'm not trying to cover up a shocking result. Celtic got pumped, absolutely pumped, 4-1. But I'm not talking about that because Stuttgart are probably a decent side, better than Celtic.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the players any good when you start that carry on.
Well, it gives the away team a lift as well.
As Martin said, Stuttgart players would know about the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all these tennis balls come on, they're saying, "Oh, lovely."
We were talking about. I think Martin was talking about when Juventus, they were scared to go to Celtic Park. You know, the atmosphere, the hostility, all that sort of stuff. It's not.
Okay, talkSPORT Breakfast, 6:19, just going 6:20. Ally and Ray with you this morning. The BAFTAs took place over the weekend to recognise some of the best from film and television over the past year. Now, the night was a triumph for Paul Thomas Anderson's one battle after another, which dominated the ceremony with 6 wins, while Frankenstein also took home multiple trophies. I must have missed that. Now, what about you, Ray? You like more TV?
Yeah, I would say I'm more live sport, Ali, really. I love golf. The golf was good last night. I watched a bit of it. I ended up going to sleep because I had to get up this morning.
How did Rory do?
I don't know. It was quite lively at the end. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Because I kind of fell asleep. It was on. I watched it. He was about 3 or 4 off. He had an eagle putt and stuff like that.
It's great to watch. The golfers way they hit it. It's fine, isn't it? I mean, I love golf, but to watch them how they set up and bang.
Oh,
it's amazing.
By the way, do you know what I watched at the weekend? I'm going to introduce Olivia's with us in the studio. Very good morning to you. How are you?
You okay?
Great. Do you know what I watched at the weekend?
What?
Couldn't take my eyes off it.
What?
The curling.
The final.
They were brilliant, by the way. The boys were brilliant. And
they lost it in the last one.
Lost it in the last one.
To Canada, but there was obviously, I didn't even realise that Canada hadn't been punished.
Eliminated.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Canadian guy on social media having a go at everybody else?
No, he wasn't.
It's embarrassing.
But I don't understand how he hasn't been disqualified.
Well, I don't know. That's
it's quite clear for everyone to see, no? Should have won gold.
But the boys were
Canada,
brilliant.
that was a gold, right?
Boys were absolutely brilliant. It really was.
Yeah.
I had the Newcastle game on my iPad. I was watching the curling on the telly.
Love it.
Guys were great. How was your weekend?
Yeah, I worked both weekends actually. Both weekends.
Both weekends. Both days.
Both days.
Where were you?
I was at Birmingham against Chatham women in the FA Cup. 8-0. 8-0 Birmingham win. And then obviously they were the lowest ranked side in it. So it was always going to be a tough task. And I was at Chelsea Man United yesterday, which was a very good game in the FA Cup. Chelsea won 2-1 after extra time. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's very good.
Good for you. Your other Chelsea, or my other Chelsea.
Another red card. 8 red cards this season, Ali.
Incredible.
Listen, I don't count the Enzo Maresca one for running down the touchline and celebrating a winner, right? The others I do count, and 8 of them is unacceptable.
Too many. Discipline not good.
Discipline not good.
Out the back pages looking, I'm guessing it might be all Ray and Arsenal.
Yeah, they are, sadly. Not sadly. Just first of all, I just want to talk about the Winter Olympics, actually, because in the back page of the Times, Zoe Atkin won bronze yesterday, which meant Team GB took home 5 medals, and it was their best ever performance in a Winter Olympic Games. So just a shout out.
We're happy with that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are happy with that. And
I've enjoyed it, you know.
I've enjoyed it. So I've watched more of this Winter Olympics than I ever have.
Yeah, I'm the same. Exact same. Fully enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that was a positive end to the Winter Olympics for Team GB. Let's go to the title race. The back page of the Sun, to Victor, the spoils. By the way, I know you've said it, best performance in an Arsenal shirt.
Oh, definitely.
But I do now, because of the calibre of teams he scored against, and listen, scoring in the North London derby.
He'll score 2 next week, definitely.
Ray, it's such a big game. Ray, it's such a big game next weekend.
Now Manchester United again. They're playing tonight. They could go
tonight.
Well, they can go into 4th place.
3 points clear of Chelsea and Liverpool if they win. But obviously, the reverse fixture, Everton won 1-0 at Old Trafford, didn't they? Obviously, Man United in a completely different place now. But the race for the Champions League places is hotting up. But I want to talk about the title race because Pep isn't gonna give up. And I don't know about you two, but it feels like that maybe for the first time this season, is this City that we've seen all of this season, or is this City maybe starting to put together a run of games?
I'm not so sure.
He's rebuilt the side, though, hasn't he?
He's done brilliant.
I think so.
He's done fantastic, but they're not playing
great.
But
they get results. But
I think you got to give him, as you say, enormous credit for the changes in the team. And for him still be challenging.
I think Gahey's a big sign.
Yeah, big sign.
Nico
O'Reilly as well.
Nico O'Reilly's been terrific. Absolutely
terrific in midfield. Terrific wherever he plays.
Interesting one. Do you start him at left back for England?
Yeah. I think that the issue
in a squad, isn't
the issue is that, I mean, yeah, he 100% is because of how versatile he is. Yeah. But I just think there's so many good midfielders and so many good 10s, and Thomas Tuchel's always going to have a problem. But left back was an issue for England, and it still is an issue for England. But I think Nico O'Reilly.
Do you think Bellingham starts?
I don't.
Right, we were sat here, right?
I think he starts Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
So we were sat here going, oh, England have so many good tens, and so but actually, really, only Morgan Rogers is the one that's in form, or he had a little dip.
Yep.
But he's been the one that's been the most consistent. Foden hasn't, Palmer hasn't, Eze hasn't. We talk about all these options for England, but no one, apart from Morgan Rogers, has been consistent this season. So yeah, Thomas Tuchel has a decision to make, but I don't think it's as big of a decision as it maybe would have been if Foden, if Bellingham, if Palmer are fit and in form.
He really likes Anderson as well.
Yeah. Anderson and Rice in midfield are the starting two 100%. Yeah. So, but anyway, we've sort of
gone off on a tangent.
That's the good thing about it, though. That's what you want if you're an Englishman. You want him to say, right, I'm going to upset a few people, but this is the right people in the system I'm going to play to get us a result.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get back to the back pages. Back with a bang. Arteta hails Gunners' turnaround. I think Arsenal, that's one thing they've done this season, is react so well, especially when they dropped points against United, went on and beat Leeds comfortably, did the same against Wolves, and then comfortably beat Spurs. From the Spurs perspective, I don't know if you saw the clip of Igor Tudor on social media shouting at Mickey van der Ven to get up the pitch. And he just looks at him as if it's like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. He just looks at him and goes, nah, just doesn't move. He's saying, get up. And Mickey van der Ven sort of looks at Igor Tudor, and just doesn't do anything about it. Just completely ignores him.
I didn't see it, but
what are your thoughts? I mean, hopefully I've explained it well enough. He sort of just looks at him
if that's the case,
and doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything.
Do you know something? The sad kind of thing is, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. Like I said, in many ways, the lack of respect that the players had for Thomas Frank. You know, if it continued, and we've seen things previously happen with Thomas Frank asking players to go and thank the fans and all that, getting blanked. So, haven't seen it. I mean, I've got to say, and it's difficult for me to comment on it, but it wouldn't be the biggest surprise of it.
Would you? Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a new manager's come in, and it's such a big game as well. But the fact that he completely blanks, you can hear him what he's trying to say, and what you can hear and see what he's trying to say, Mickey van der Ven, to get up, just literally just stays where he is, just goes nah.
Well,
is that acceptable?
It's an awkward one, really. I mean, I haven't been in training and whatever, and he's obviously turned up. He's had a little bit of time with the players, but he's got to get his thoughts across. He's got to get how they're going to play 3, 4, 2, 1, whatever they're going to do, and work on it now. They've got a few days to work on getting back into it after a couple of days off. No, I'm sure they'll have today off, and then they're back into training, ready for Fulham game. But
they shouldn't have today off.
Well, would they have today off?
They might have,
maybe.
But maybe they shouldn't after that performance. I think it is harsh as well, because I think I spoke about it on Early Breakfast, and like any team, and I know it's probably not a coincidence that you've got that many players injured at the same time. I just don't think it can be a coincidence that you've got that many first team players out injured. But if you took 13 players out of Arsenal's squad, it would affect them. If you took 13 players out of any squad,
there's no doubt 13. That has to get a mention.
You can't not.
And they had that last season as well, didn't
This is what I mean. It can't be a coincidence.
Well, I take your point.
You think it is.
And underage,
if all the injuries are the same, I don't mean nothing, because you're not going to get 30. You know my point. If you get 8 or 9 calves or 8 or 9 hamstrings, there's some going wrong, but if they're different injuries, it might just be bad luck. Thanks very much, Olivia. That was mentioning our reading of the back pages, and not one mention of England at rugby or Scotland at rugby. I'm a wee bit surprised this.
Not me, Ali, not me.
I'll let it go this time. Up next, you're here for another couple of gloating Gunners, and Scotland will get a mention, Six Nations.
Do you doubt that Jermaine can take Moses Atoma into the later rounds?
I think he's going to get knocked out. I do. I think there's no. And by the way, saying someone's going to get knocked out is not meant to be disrespectful. I'm not disrespecting Jermaine. I'm looking at the fight, looking at Moses Atoma, looking at what I've seen from Jermaine. And I think that ideally, I don't want to see an early fight. I want to see a good fight. I want to see Jermaine stick it on Moses Atoma. I want to see a good fight. And ultimately, we have an enjoyable evening watching two good fighters put something out. But I think Moses, I don't think he's been in with someone as quick and as fast and at this stage in his career. Going in with Anthony Joshua and Dillian White at their stages in their career is not the same going in with Moses. But on the other side of it, Moses isn't as experienced and as wise as those two fighters.
And that's
so there's a trade-off. But I think, personally, with due respect to the man sitting next to me, I think he's going to get knocked out by Moses.
But there's nothing to suggest that he will get knocked out because he's never been knocked down, never been knocked out.
And I'm happy to be wrong.
No, but what I'm saying
he
is
asked me.
He's been, yeah, absolutely. But I say he had been in at the time with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, he was on a rebuild and a comeback, but that kid can whack, and he's still very, very dangerous. And Jermaine took some flush shots from him.
The big question about Anthony at that fight, and it's always been about Anthony, was he gun shy? And there was,
he was letting the shots go.
There was an allegation at that fight. He was getting himself through that fight. Moses Atoma won't navigate this fight.
We'll see. See, that's the difference between skills and just watching it. I made him fight that way. It wasn't that he had to fight that.
Fair enough.
I made it that way.
Fair enough.
It's different when you're in the ring.
Of course.
You know, so like everybody expects Moses to come out and fight this way or do this and do that. I won't let him.
No.
He's going to have to try. He's going to have to try and try again.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Win a trip to Cheltenham, Alan Brazil style on talkSPORT. He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far.
You seen that movie? Blazing Saddles.
Oh, brilliant. When the old beans.
That's amazing.
Oh, that was great.
You talking about that movie, the brilliant movie, the first thing you're talking about, the old bean sketch.
Oh,
this is...
the old classics. Those sort of films, that's what I'd rather watch.
I'm ashamed.
The comedy ones are brilliant. Life of Brian, Holy Grail.
Life of
And
Brian.
then you go back to the Clouseau films.
Brilliant.
I like ones when I know what's going to happen, but I still laugh.
Oh, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
But yeah, all the people. There's not a lot of good TV on there, is there? I mean, 40 Towers and things like that. Do you remember 40 Towers? That was probably one of the best series ever.
It was the best.
I think there's only about 12 or 13, wasn't there?
That was the best, aye.
John Cleese. Absolutely brilliant.
What about Cleese?
I know nothing, Mr. Ford.
I'll just take your hors
Major.
d'oeuvres. I'll take your hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres that must be obeyed at all times.
A Waldorf salad, that was American.
Oh, magic, mate.
You can't. And do you know what? That's a true story, isn't it?
I know.
I mean, he went to an hotel in that area, and it was so bad he got a series out of it.
That's right. It's just unbelievable. Arguably the best, mate. Okay, Monday the 23rd of February, this is talkSPORT Breakfast, Ally and Ray this morning, and of course, our good friends Arnold Clark with over 20,000 used cars online to choose from. They will have a car for you, don't worry about that. Now, fancy joining talkSPORT at the famous Cheltenham Festival for Gold Cup Day. We're giving away the ultimate hospitality experience for two on Friday, March the 11th. You're going to get a full day of VIP treatment, a 4-course lunch, a complimentary bar all day, celebrity tipsters and more. You'll be experiencing the races in the best way possible, and you'll get to meet some of us. So it's got a downside as well. For your chance to win, text 1 to 83338. 8 text cost, I'll give you that again. Text 1 to 83338. Text cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed this Friday 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone, of course, if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text 1 to 83338 now. I'm going for a lie down after that. Is the longest. Is that the longest one in history?
I'm glad I think I've none of it.
I've never done about 4 drinks.
That number's a nightmare. Not what to call that.
I know. There's too many.
03036
Have you heard that one? Try that. I think Alan was giving it. Alan was giving it one of the numbers you shouldn't be calling. Anyway, right, back to the phone lines. Pounds is a delight. Is this his name? Ebbs. By the way, Ebbs. Well, by the way, it's an L and a B and a S written as pounds. Ebbs, a very good morning. A very good morning to you, mate. My first thing is Ebbs is an apology, but he's put an L, a B and a S, and it looks like pounds, mate. How are you, sir?
I'm over the moon, mate, Ali. Nice to speak to you.
Lovely to talk to you, mate.
It's actually short for Ibra, Ibs.
Ibs.
Brilliant. I like it, mate.
Ray might remember me from a few weeks back on Shabana Hearn's early programme.
Oh, yeah, I do indeed, yeah. Of course I do. How are you, pal? You're very happy this morning?
Legend. I'm very happy, over the moon, mate. What a performance, eh? I mean, come on. After a disastrous midweek game, when I say disastrous, I say the last 45 minutes, the second half was disastrous. And that's the only 45 minutes that we've not played properly the whole season. And we've been called bottle jobs and, all sorts. But, I mean, going back to yesterday's game, what a performance. I mean, it was just plain to see that they're hungry for the title.
Yep.
We want the title. He set out the stall from the first minute, the get-go, and we didn't stop until the 95th, 94th minute. All the players, every single one of them, was impeccable. And do you know that JT, Julian Timber, was not 100% fit?
Yeah, I could see that. It was a good decision to take him off because he's one of the, he can get a red card as well. He was one of them. He was looking at maybe he's just a little bit half a yard slow, and he one tackle. I was like, don't tackle. He's going to be sent off here.
Ebes, you have a great day, pal. I'm going to have to move on to rugby.
Mate.
You have a great Monday.
Hope to speak to you. See you later, guys.
Take it easy, mate. Six Nations now. What a brilliant weekend it was. Certainly was. France look unstoppable. Third one out of three after beating Italy 33-8. Scotland edged Wales 26-23. Watched it. What a comeback. Wales were excellent first half. Best I've seen them in a long time. And what about the Irish? Dear me. Dominated England. Watched that as well. 42-21 to Alliance Stadium. Heaping pressure. And the team head coach Steve Borthwick joining him now as talkSPORT's top man and rugby correspondent Alfie Reynolds. Alfie, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure. No worries. Morning, lads.
Well, should start. Great to see you, mate. We'll all start with England, right? I mean...
What did you say, Alfie?
What do you say? I mean, opening game... Clearly looked now looks a flash in the pan. I mean, two poor performances, certainly against Scotland, and I watched the Ireland game, mate.
Yeah,
what's happening?
I think that's the most alarming thing about all of this is no one saw this coming, and it's not that England have lost to Scotland and Ireland, even though personally I backed them to win both of those games. It's the manner of those defeats, the manner of the performance up at Murrayfield, where you just thought. They were poor in an attacking sense, a defensive sense. Their discipline wasn't good. But you thought, do you know what? England have struggled in Edinburgh recently. They're back at home against Ireland. It was even worse. It was awful.
Alfie, I was the same, mate, right? I was the exact same. And there's no doubt about it. Of course, there's an element of the home nations getting up for the game against England. Of course they do. I watched Ireland, France opening game. France in the first 40 minutes were as good as anything I've seen in a long time. Ireland come back into the second half. And then I watched Ireland at home to Italy. Won the game. But I didn't think they were overly impressive. I thought Italy were maybe a wee bit unlucky, and I thought that's actually quite a good game for England. And then I was so impressed with Ireland that weekend as well.
Yeah, and do you know what I will? Do you know what I will say though? How good is the Six Nations?
Magic.
Do you know, like every single year, you think England have come into it. They won 11 games in a row. They were brilliant last year. They beat Wales in the opening game, 12 games in a row, and then all of a sudden the script just gets torn up, and anyone can beat anyone on any given weekend. But you're right. I think with England, I think part of the thing that a lot of England fans are going to feel really frustrated about at the moment is they thought they were past this.
Yes.
And do you know, like
I understand
because
totally.
You know, last year you looked at England and you thought this is a team that have learnt from their mistakes. They're now winning those tight games. They beat New Zealand comprehensively at home, and now all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're thinking, where does this team go from here? They got it's the fallow week now, so no games next weekend.
They won 11 in a row. 12 in a row.
12 in a row. Fallow week now, so they can kind of rebuild it potentially. But then it's a trip away to Italy. They've never lost to Italy, but that is not an easy game. And then away to France, who are unbeaten so far on the final weekend.
Well, Alfie, I've got to say though, we had Danny Kerr on Friday, and they said Scotland can win it.
Do you know something?
Scotland.
I'm a bit more feet in the ground on this one. Right, and I'll tell you why. Because my next question I'm going to ask you about Biel, Biarri, Dupont. France, to me, Ray, look the absolute real deal. But I definitely think we've got a better chance of beating them at Murrayfield than we would in France. I really do. I looked, as I mentioned to you earlier, Alfie, the opening 40 minutes against Ireland, I thought France were playing a different sport. The one I've been watching recently, they were fabulous. Those two boys I mentioned are I think, absolutely world class. Scotland, couple of great results. Didn't play particularly well, but when I say unlike, I'm maybe a wee bit unfair here, but found a way to win.
I was going to say to you there, Ali, were you watching that thinking, thank goodness they just got the win? Because that's even though it's wet, like this, because you could look at that performance against Wales at the weekend and think it's classic Scotland not really backing up an England performance, but actually they've got the win. Fallow week now, you kick on. I agree. Look, France are going to be the favourites here. They comfortably, I would say, look like the best team in the Six Nations. But Scotland at Murrayfield, they might fancy causing them a few problems there.
You would think so. Yeah. I think we've got the best number 10 in the world, man. Honestly, I really do.
Special, isn't he? Finn Russell.
Absolutely phenomenal. And we've got players. I do enjoy watching this as well, Alfie. You know, I think when we're on and we're running, throwing the ball about, we're as good as MD to watch. You know,
brilliant. Well, that's been the frustrating thing for Scotland fans over the years, hasn't it? Because your team on paper is excellent. You know, some of the rugby that you can play is sensational as well, but they haven't necessarily strung together results. They've never got to the final weekend of the Six Nations with a proper shot at the title. They could potentially have that now. That game against France is going to be really difficult. But to give you encouragement there, Ali, I suppose what you would say is, everyone expected England to go up to Murrayfield and win. Everyone expected England to do the job on Ireland. Six Nations throws up results. So even though at the moment France looks seriously good, they look seriously good, you just never know.
Will Wales get a point?
That was far more encouraging, Alfie. I mean,
better,
wasn't it? I'm clearly happy, man. Scotland won the game.
Yeah.
But I did have a certain degree of sympathy for Wales. I thought they played miles better in the first half.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that restart with Finn Russell went quick and
Genius.
Brilliant from Scotland.
Who are you blaming, right? Because it was an interesting one. You tell me what happened, right? And you're obviously far more qualified to talk about it. The winger, Welsh winger, chases it in, which he's meant to do, just in case comes off a post or a bar and all that stuff. So he can't get back in time. Russell's been brilliant. And the big fella turns his back, right? But Russell puts it in a sixpence. And the bounce is perfect for the wee man.
Yeah, I think, listen, let's give credit to Scotland here because it was heads up, intelligent. Surprised we don't see more teams do it, by the way, because you can do it more often. Brilliant from Scotland. James Botham for Wales, though, is going to be looking at the review. He had his back turned, the ball went over him, it bounced. And for me, that was the game because that was the moment. Wales had just kicked a penalty, hadn't they?
That's right.
So they'd kind of extended their lead and then straight away, sucker punch, bang. 7 points for the Scots, and they were right back within touching distance. The next try then gives them the lead. So, but you're right, encouragement for Wales. I was speaking to a Welsh fan, a good friend of mine yesterday, who said, you know what, the defeat was gutting, but they just needed something.
Level of performance.
Exactly. Give them something for people to get behind.
And you know what was great, Alfie, and you tell me I'm wrong. For the first time in a long time, the atmosphere in that stadium sounded as if you're in Wales.
Yeah, at 100%. And look, they had their lowest ever attendance for a Six Nations game the round before against France. Ticket sales have been sluggish. There are problems off the field. At least it gives the nation something to get behind because the Principality, when it's on song, is the best place in the world to watch rugby.
Tremendous, mate. Thoroughly enjoying it, your rate. It's a brilliant Six Nations.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Alfie. Great
Cheers,
to see you,
chaps.
mate.
Alfie.
Okay, still to come this morning on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Okay, Arsenal fans, want to hear from you again this morning after putting Spurs to the sword once again. 03717 223344. Who's more in control of this year's title race? Is it the Gunners or is it still Manchester City? It's in both their hands. Spurs fans, let's them hear you as well. You've got to be worried. There's no getting away from it, Spurs fans. You have to be worried. Is Igor Tudor the man to save your season?
We need to start work hard because now in this moment the team is full of the problems.
Give you again, 03717 223344. That was our breakfast preview, I beg your pardon, with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
They've changed the manager, which is what the fans wanted. I was at their last home game against Newcastle United, and it just felt like the players were completely on the floor, just didn't have the answers, didn't look interested or committed to the manager's plan. How will it be different under Igor Tudor, and has he had enough time to work with his players, Crook?
I'm intrigued by this appointment because obviously one of the main factors is he's proven in the past that you can come into a team in a difficult situation, give them an uplift, put wins on the board, which obviously Spurs need to steer themselves away from relegation danger. But as Southampton found with Ivan Juric last season, who had a similar profile, there's a big difference between doing that in European leagues and coming into the Premier League and doing it. I do think you're right. I think the atmosphere around the stadium will be a lot more positive on Sunday than it has been previously. I think the change of manager, the fact it's not Thomas Frank anymore as much as anything, makes this a more difficult fixture
for Arsenal. But what happens if they go behind early? What happens if they lose this game? That lightning rod effect that the Spurs hierarchy are obviously hoping for suddenly evaporates quite quickly.
Yeah, it's slightly different in terms of the profile of the manager. I mean, you keep comparing Juric to Tudor, but Juric basically only managed teams in Italy, Genoa and Hellas Verona down the bottom of the
Back to the phone lines. Pounds is a delight. Is this his name? Ibs. By the way, Ibs. Well, by the way, it's an L and a B and a S written as Pounds. Ibs. A very good morning. A very good morning to you, mate. My first thing is Ibs is an apology, but he's put an L, a B and a S and it looks like Pounds, mate. And that's my case.
Brilliant.
What does an L, a B and an S mean? It means pounds. Yeah. If you put an I with a dot in it, I say Ibs. Right? I've turned into Brazil. I'm now just reading
numpties.
I'm reading evidence in front of me. Okay, 6:51 talkSPORT break with Ally and Ray with you this morning. It's now time for a bit of this. Virtual insanity. Now, Olivia, you're about to take us to the centre of insanity.
Insanity is an understatement, I think, for what's coming up. But Celtic and Rangers both dropped points in the Scottish Premiership title race. However, we're not sat here talking about the points dropped.
No.
We're sat here talking about some of the worst decisions you will ever see VAR give in in football.
Embarrassing.
Not just in Scottish football.
Absolutely embarrassing.
In football. Let's first of all hear from both Celtic and Rangers managers, Mark O'Neill, but first, Danny Roll.
Yeah, I think general, if there's a foul, then it's a pen or free kick. As a ref, you have to decide is a yellow card or a red card. This is a different thing. But if there's a clear foul, and I think the first contact goes against the leg, not to the ball, then you have to make a decision.
I thought the red card myself. I just spoke to the referee, and the referee said initially that he was just going to talk to the two players. That's what he thought. Then VAR have asked him to intervene and claim it's violent conduct. Well, I obviously don't know about VAR anymore anyway. But if VAR had intervened there, when you were hoping that they would maybe 2 minutes later, when Scales is held in the penalty area, as jersey's been pulled, that looks a pretty well cast iron penalty.
Right, let's get into it.
Where are we going? Where are we starting?
Right, well, we're going to start. We're going to start with Celtic and Rangers.
Last one is the worst.
But by the way,
last one's the worst. We're saving the worst for last.
We're saving the worst for last. We absolutely are. Let us start with Celtic then. Lost 2-1 to Hibs. Austin Trusty got sent off with 15 minutes to go. Let's try and explain how this red card has come about. Right. So Celtic are attacking a corner. Yeah. One of the Hibs players has got hold of his arm. So he almost just hits his arm. If you're watching it, sort of kits down on his arm, just like that. And the referee, like we say, you heard Martin O'Neill there say the referee was going to just have a talking to. Perfect. That's exactly what was needed there. The two players talking to, get on with the corner. VAR get involved and give a red card for violent conduct.
First thing you'd say is, the Hibs player, a bigger pan, doesn't cover himself with glory.
Yeah.
Right. Does not cover himself with glory going down.
Yeah.
Right. But, come on, guys.
He just hits his arm.
It's a terrible, terrible decision. It is not... And don't... Nobody come on and tell me violent conduct, right? Please, nobody come on and say, oh, it's violent conduct, because it's not. The guy's holding him and he puts his hand down to get rid of him.
It happens every game. Of course
every game.
Every game in the corners. Of course it does. Some of them grappling.
Yeah.
You know, it happens all the time.
See the people that are doing our VAR. They're just inept. They're just not good.
They're watching something else.
We need to get rid of it. We have to get rid of VAR because they're embarrassing themselves. They're actually embarrassing themselves. The decision at Livingston in the last minute is absolutely outrageous.
Okay, we're going to get onto this. Let's move on then to the Rangers game. Obviously, they were 2-0 down against Livingston, came back to draw 2-2. There was a moment where Mikey Moore got absolutely wiped out by Cammy Kerr. Absolutely wiped out. And because basically the referee somehow doesn't even give a foul. Now, even if he thought it was outside the box, he didn't give a free kick.
It's a penalty, by the way.
And he's absolutely on the line. If not in the box, it's a penalty. But because he doesn't give a free kick, VAR look at that, and because VAR think it's outside the box, they can't go back and give a free kick.
Terrible.
So they
no, but they can send the boy off, surely. Is that not the one? Cannot send
I don't think so, because they can't deal with the situation.
So he's not denying a goal scoring opportunity.
There are, what I would say is...
Anyway, the bottom line is...
It's a penalty,
the referee's 5 yards away. It's a penalty. He should be given the penalty, and that's it, finished.
Yellow, red card. If you give a penalty, you might give a yellow card because there is a player there. So that's like Danny Roll said. That's besides the point.
The referees though as well, though, Olivia. Go back to the Aston Villa Newcastle game when there was no VAR.
Yeah,
and he handball.
Yeah.
Now the linesman's standing there.
What
he
do
can
they
see
do?
he's in the box. I think they're relying on it. The referee's now relying on VAR to get him out of jail.
I'm leaving.
Some of them.
I'm leaving the studio for the last one.
Right now, if you haven't seen this, I please urge you. It's all over X. It's very easy to find. Richard King, St Mirren, sent off at the start of the second half. I personally. Besides the Liverpool Spurs goal that happened, because factually that is the worst decision ever. This for me is the worst decision I have ever seen.
Yeah,
it's difficult to. I say it's difficult to explain. Both players are sort of running back towards the halfway line.
And the boy Slattery's pulling him
back. So Callum Slattery's pulling back Richard King. And Richard King doesn't actually do anything. He almost just shrugs his arm to be like, get off, but doesn't touch him. Callum Slattery goes down, holding his face down on the floor.
That's what I don't like.
That is
that's
part of the reason.
That's the worst bit about it.
He's going to be horrified at that when he watches that on the telly.
But this is the whole point of VAR. So that if Callum Slattery goes down holding his face, VAR can go back, look at that, show that Richard King has done absolutely nothing.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And
I cannot believe VAR have got involved in that and decided that was a red card.
Motherwell, I've said it for weeks. Motherwell have been playing the best football in the country, right? They have a fantastic result, again, away at St Mirren. There was some brilliant results. They had a sore one, by the way. They had a sore one up at Aberdeen in the Cup. I'm not even going to talk to you about the 3 red cards in that game, right? We've not got enough time to talk about the red cards in that game. But instead of talking about Motherwell's brilliant result, we're talking about a ridiculous sending off for King, and when Slattery goes down holding his face, embarrassing.
And then now, instead of talking about Hearts going 4 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership, we're now sat talking about red cards in the Celtic and Rangers game.
The officiating at the weekend in Scotland was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Looking at him, unbelievable.
But I mean, that's why I thought we brought VR in to help them. It's actually shown them up.
Yeah.
Because they're actually looking at it. See if a referee makes a mistake, guys, and you go like, well, that's fine, made a mistake, he got it wrong. But if somebody's sitting watching it 7, 8, 9 times and still getting it wrong, what chance have we got?
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely.
But it's only the thing is that we say get rid of VAR. It's up to the clubs.
I know.
It's always up to the clubs.
Who was it? Was it Wolves?
Yeah, because they got done so many times, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Wolves were the team. I wonder if it would change
why does
now.
it work okay in major tournaments, though? We don't really talk about massive decisions, do we, in major tournaments?
That by far in Scottish football, those three decisions are they're three of the worst decisions I've ever seen. But that St Mirren one, go and have a look at it, because that to me is probably one of the worst decisions I have ever seen VAR.
I will be more embarrassed for the guy who went down.
So would I.
But that
Probably woke up this morning going, what have I done here? What have I done here?
But that should be retrospective action.
What was the score at the time as well?
3-0.
They're cruising.
Yeah, cruising. Yeah, 3-0 up.
That's my point.
Why would you do
3-0 up.
that?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much. Let me get that steam off my chest. Up next, we'll turn our attention back to Spurs as Peter Fan is blaming Daniel Levy for the humiliation at the weekend.
But when you hear these comments that he's come out with now, to say he cannot get the best out of the players that have come in, if that those words just come out of his mouth, then as an owner, you've got no choice now. You have to say, like, okay, he's coming out now publicly and saying he can't get the best out of top players as well, by the way. Brendan Johnson is a very good player. Okay, you can't get the best out
Is
of
he
him.
daring the board to sack him?
It sounds
100%.
It sounds like it. And by the way, I know that they missed out on Dwight McDeal. That deal didn't quite get over the line on deadline day. But there was a lot of optimism in the Palace hierarchy because of the addition of Brendan Johnson, because Jurgen Strand-Larsen has come in and obviously scored a couple of excellent goals, Guessond as well. And they kept Mateta. He's not fit at the moment, but should be back sometime soon. They feel there are more than enough weapons in that Palace team to be winning games of football, and one winning 15 is not good enough.
It feels like he's playing chicken a little bit with the hierarchy, isn't he? Because he's saying, I'm not good enough at the moment. I can't do this job. It's very hard for me, blah, blah, blah. And Palace are in a situation where they're obviously like, well, you've already said you're going to leave at the end of the season. You've got a contract to fulfill. You need to fulfill that. Yeah. We're not just going to pay you up for the sake of paying you up so you can have a 3-month holiday and prepare yourself for a new job. Quite rightly so, by the way. But at the same time, Palace are in a predicament where they've won one game in 15. They might go out of Europe if they don't buck their ideas up next Thursday. And they don't want to lose to Wolves on Sunday either, because if that happens, they could find themselves in a relegation battle. So they're in a sort of catch-22 situation. He knows that, and he's daring them, Gabby.
Yeah, but in that press conference, he's gonna lose the fans, those that were still standing by him. He's going to lose the owner.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Okay, well, we've got 6 minutes past 7. It's Monday the 23rd of February. Quite rightly, understandable. A couple of Newcastle fans been on saying we've not got total domination and some ridiculous citizens over the weekend up in Scotland. There was an interesting one when
Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, jumped into Dan Burn.
Yeah, that could have been easy enough.
Easily. And then was it Ruben Diaz shoves somebody into an offside position? Yes. Newcastle fans, well worth a mention. Of course that is. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out the website for more details. Ally and Arsenal Invincible Ray Parlour with you this morning. And we've got Ray on this morning where Arsenal kept their title hopes well and truly alive. Good performance and great result. But the threat of relegation has become very much a reality for Spurs. Eze made it 7 goals in 3 games against Spurs. Incredible since scoring a brace for Palace last May. We're going to take a call now from George, a Spurs fan. George, a very good morning.
Morning, George.
Is it, George? Is it a very good morning, my friend?
No. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, George. You carry on, mate.
No, it's not. I have to take a deep breath here because, there's some things that's going on which is ridiculous. Daniel Levy, I think 3 people are responsible for this decline. I think Daniel Levy, the footballing side, he's done well with the stadium and the facilities. The footballing side, he genuinely hasn't got a clue. He was getting advice from other people, and the advice was poor. He hired Ange. He's the second one, because the decline started when we was top of the league the first few months, if you remember. And then when they started to play top teams in the league, they then started to lose games. Then they had the injuries, and they winded up 5th. Where in reality they had a situation where they should have been in the top 4, because people were saying that the points they had accumulated during the first 3 months, virtually guaranteed them to be top 4. Some way, some shape, they winded up 5th. So they were in decline there. He then says he abandoned the league. Who abandoned the league because he wanted to win the Europa League? No, I've never heard that before. He should have been sacked just for that. Okay, the teams we played in the Europa League from the quarterfinals, we should have won. We played Man United. I've spoken to loads of Man United fans. They said it was one of the worst teams they ever had. Yet they had us on the back foot in the second half. I don't think we had an attack in the second half.
George, I've got one quick question for you, mate. Are you going to stay up?
Yes. Just before I finish, the last one is Thomas Frank. Who goes to a job and you have no qualifications? He'd never played in Europe. He'd never managed £50 million players. Okay?
Oh, I think you've been harsh, George. I think you've been harsh, mate. I think Big Ange wins your European trophy. Thomas Frank, there wasn't a lot of people complaining about Thomas Frank when he got the job, mate, from Brentford. But anyway, I appreciate your call. Thanks for your time this morning, George. Disastrous first game in charge for interim boss Igor Tudor, who admitted after the game that there are big problems that have to be solved very quickly at Spurs.
He showed me that on Tuesday we need to start work hard, but hard and seriously, and change the habits. And trying to resolve the individual problems, because now in this moment the team is full of the problems. That's very evident, And the only key is work on the training, day by day. Be humble, stay down, see what you can do. You need to start run. We need to start run more. We need to be more aggressive. We need to start to win the duels. We need to be more compact. We need to be more for concentration. These are the keys. Working on every day in the training. To change bad habits.
I'm just worried about George. Is he all right, George? George is...
By the way, keep an eye on George today.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I think a lot of Spurs fans will be like that.
I think George probably speaks
and it is,
for a lot.
It's so... People so passionate about their clubs. And when they're in that bad...
Everybody was getting in there.
Yeah, no, Arsenal fans like that against Wolves. And I was like that against Wolves. I'm thinking, I woke up there next morning, I was like, I can't believe this I've seen last night. And then that's what football does to some people.
It drives you insane. There's no getting away from it. Right, let's speak to the man who was at the game for talkSPORT yesterday. It's a very good morning to your very own talkSPORT's George. Alex Crookie, how are you this morning? How's George Crook?
I'm a lot chirpier than George.
Yeah, poor George.
Listen, in all seriousness though, Cricket, we can understand George. You'll just be speaking and feeling the same way a lot of Tottenham fans are feeling this morning, and that's understandable. Brilliant day for Arsenal, Cricket, but if ever there was any doubt, and I don't think there has been or is or was, Tottenham are in trouble, mate.
They certainly are. 4 points above the relegation places now. Competitive in the first half, but even then there was a clear gulf in class, and obviously that came to the fore in the second half, and it was pretty evident that Arsenal were not only going to win, but win quite comfortably, really, from the moment Victor Gyökeres scored a fine goal 2 minutes after the restart. But just listening there to Igor Tudor, I think he knows the enormity of the task that he's taken on. But when he talks about having to work harder in training, having to run more, it does make it even more baffling for me that Spurs lose a game at home to Newcastle. They fire the manager and they decide to give their players 5 days off in the middle of the season. I don't get that, and I'm sure a lot of Tottenham fans can't get their head around that either.
Yeah. One thing about the Tottenham fans, though, I must admit, Cookie, they played their part, didn't they? I mean, they made the atmosphere before the game was unbelievable. Really got behind the team that first spell of the game, but the players didn't really respond, did they, to that?
I think they did to an extent in the first half, and it was, as you say, a completely different feel around the stadium to if Thomas Frank was still in situ. There were videos that we were getting on talkSPORT of the concourses packed out with Tottenham fans singing before the game, and yeah, it made it quite a hostile environment for Arsenal. I think your former club deserve a lot of credit for the way they managed that situation, particularly after the error that Declan Rice made, really uncharacteristic from him to gift Kolo Muani the equalising goal. But defensively, Tottenham were all over the shop, weren't they? You look at all 4 goals that Arsenal conceded, Igor Tudor won't be happy with any of them. And I do question him tactically a little bit, because he likes to play this back 5. He has done throughout the bulk of his managerial career, but they've not got 3 available centre-backs, Tottenham. So he shoehorned João Paulinho into a position that he doesn't really play very often, because he was wedded to this system. And it goes back to the Ruben Amorim factor, doesn't it? How many managers have come to English football, played with wing-backs and been a success? Antonio Conte did it at Chelsea and won the title. Oliver Glasner did it last season and won the FA Cup, of course, with Crystal Palace. but that's about it. I'm not sure that his system is going to work in the Premier League.
Crookie, here's one for you, mate, right? Everybody's looking at the poor result, and I think it's probably the only poor result that they've had, Arsenal, and that was a draw at Wolves, and then obviously City managing to get 3 points against Newcastle. Conversely, was it actually, everybody thought North London derby, difficult game for Arsenal. Was it actually, I know it's easy to say it now with hindsight, but it's turned out relatively comfortable and not easy, but you know what I'm saying, a good game for Arsenal.
Yeah, and it's twice now that they've come out as comfortable winners in this fixture. We were at the Emirates as well during the season when, again, Eberechi Eze was inspired. So I think you're right. Maybe we got swept up in a bit of the hype because they were poor in that second half against Wolves, because Tottenham had this potential new manager bounce. But ultimately, Arsenal are so far ahead of their near neighbours that, yeah, maybe it was the perfect fixture just to refocus. And you know what? Whenever we've asked questions about Arsenal this season, we did it after they lost to Michael Carrick's Manchester United at home, and then they went and beat Leeds 4-0. They respond, don't they? So I think you've got to make them clear favourites to win the title, despite the fact Manchester City are now putting on this scoreboard pressure.
Cookie, why have you got a camouflaged lampshade behind you? And what's your view like from your window? Open your curtains. Come on, Cookie. People, what's it?
Are you in Vegas? You're either in Vegas.
Where are you?
You're either in Vegas or Bali.
No such luck. I'm in Shoreditch, unfortunately.
It looks like what's behind them curtains? I want to see what's behind them curtains.
I'm going to have a look at you, Cookie. I think you're working with security services.
Camouflage, look, the old lampshade.
I had to bed down with Sam Matterface after the show yesterday because the TalkSPORT budget didn't stretch the 2 hotel rooms. So.
But we wouldn't wish that them, did we? All right, thanks for your time, Cookie. See you later on. That was good. Up next, we're going to be discussing what can be done, if anything, to stop the epidemic of online racist abuse, or just abuse in general. It's getting out of order.
Mourinho, one of the best managers of our generation. But I'll tell you what, he's lost a lot of fans. He's lost a lot of neutral fans. And I just felt his comments were disgusting. For one, Vinicius Jr., if he wants to run to the corner flag and do a dance that a lot of Brazilian players do, Cunha danced when he scored against Arsenal, didn't receive racial abuse from anybody, any player. So Vinicius Jr. is allowed to dance. And also, Eusebio is one of our best ever players. This club cannot be racist. What does that mean? Because your best ever player was black. That means no one else can be racist to do with your football club. And also, no one says Benfica was a racist football club, did they? It was alleged that a player had been racist. So why is Mourinho protecting the football club when no one's said that Benfica are a racist football club? Very odd.
Well, Benfica are not a homogenous group, are they? They're made up of individuals, and Prestiani is his own individual, and he's the one who's accused of the racism. It's not like everyone's accusing the club of it. It just seems a little bit strange that now Benfica have come out in support of him.
7:19. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. Ally and Ray with you this morning. We've got to mention James Milner. What an achievement.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, James. Congratulations. The new record Premier League appearance holder.
Amazing.
He celebrated his 654th appearance in Brighton's 2-0 away win at Brentford. What a result that was, by the way.
Brilliant result. He was under a little bit of pressure as well.
Well, he still is.
But that was a top result.
I was up at the cup game in Liverpool, and they were, Liverpool deserved the victory, but they actually played all right first half, right? Did okay. So that was a great achievement over the weekend, and he spoke to talkSPORT after the game about his remarkable achievement.
A lot further down than any of those, to be honest. I've never really been one for individual stuff. It's the team, and you look back at your career and you think of the trophies you've won. I think it's a nice thing to have, but it's a team sport, and like you say, that cheer in the dressing room, that togetherness, that's what it's all about. Team spirit, being with the boys, achieving something as a group. There's nothing more special than that. And even in a game like that, it's not going to take us into third position in the league. But, hopefully that'll give the boys a belief and confidence that we can finish the season really strongly. Because, like I say, it's an incredible group. And I love being part of the dressing room, even though, a lot of the boys are old enough to be my kids. But, that's what I'm there to do, try and push them and get them to fulfil their potential as quickly as possible.
Nah, it's fantastic, mate.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. I didn't know this. You played against him when he was a youngster at Leeds in 2003.
Is that right? Wow.
So,
that's amazing.
Well, it is amazing.
It is amazing.
23 years later, still playing at
40 years old, and he's still fit. He's going to be a top coach probably.
Looked at
going forward.
You get that impression, don't you?
Yeah, all day long. He's football mad. You can see his way he goes into games himself. But I like what he just said there. It's a team game, and I love being around the dressing room. I think I miss that the most.
I'm the same, mate.
You miss that day to day. People don't realise. Look, it's great when you go out on the pitch and you win games of football and you see all the fans happy and whatever. But the day to day part of it.
It's funny that I agree with you. And I'm not sure we're in the majority, because I think a lot of the boys maybe miss the Saturday at 3 o'clock going out, the adulation, the fans, the games. I missed walking in the train. I
used to love going training.
So did I, mate.
For me, it's a working class game.
Yeah.
So you'll go in, you'll have a bit of fun. And to be fair to Arsene Wenger, you just love you mucking about as well. You do your work when the intensity was there and whatever. But off the field, off that training field, you want to have a bit of fun. And you love that. People laughing. Because it's
good environment.
It's a pressurised job. We all know that. And that's why you get paid lots of money to perform at the weekends. But you've got to have a good laugh along the way
100%.
as well.
I've said it all along, Ray. I said a happy dressing room and a happy camp doesn't necessarily guarantee success, but it doesn't have help.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have
Absolutely.
help. Now, some shocking news unfolded this weekend. A number of Premier League players were subject to vile racist abuse on social media after this week's round of fixtures. Here's talkSPORT reporter Max Scott with the latest. Here we go, Max.
Wolves striker Tolu Arokodare and Sunderland midfielder Romain Mundle have become the latest Premier League players to be subjected to racist abuse online. Arokodare missed a penalty in Sunday's 1-0 defeat at Crystal Palace and subsequently received abuse from several accounts, according to a club statement. And Sunderland midfielder Romain Mundle was a victim of similar attacks after his substitute appearance in a 3-1 loss to Fulham. The news follows similar treatment of Chelsea defender Wesley Fofana and Burnley's Hannibal Mejbri, who were targeted online after their teams drew 1-1 on Saturday. All 4 clubs have released statements condemning the disgusting and abhorrent abuse, saying there's no place for racism in football, online or anywhere in society.
Yep, for sure. Now, get more on this. Let's speak to Jonathan Hirschler, CEO of data science firm Signify. Jonathan, very good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, fellas. Good to speak to you.
Nice to see you, Jonathan. Thanks very much for joining us. I said, the first thing I'd say to you, Jonathan, could you explain a little bit your role and what Signify does and what it stands for, please?
Sure, yeah. We're, as you said, a data science company. We look at detecting online abuse when it's being targeted at players, at clubs, at officials. We work inside football at all different levels. We work for a number of Premier League clubs, WSL clubs, EFL clubs, but also outside of that internationally, and outside of football as well. We work across different sports, so tennis, cricket, football, lots of other sports, and rugby is a big one for us as well. So, we see this issue across different sports, different parts of the world, in different languages. We analyse it, we pick it up, we report it, and we try to lead it to action as well. So whether that's having, really nasty account holders who we can affiliate to a club banned if possible, or put into an education program, all the way, through to law enforcement when it needs to be taken at that level.
Yeah. How hard is it, Jonathan, to detect? Because I'm not rocket science with all phones and all that sort of databases and all that sort of stuff. But is it really difficult to detect it, or and when you do detect it, is there addresses and all that sort of stuff involved?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that it changes. The tactics that are being used to send the abuse changes quite frequently. So over the sort of 5-6 years we've been doing this, we've seen it move from words to emojis to images to, more recently, the sort of AI generated images and videos, which are a problem. So, the issue, the tactics morph a lot. Staying in front of those is not the easiest thing to do in the world. And then you throw in sort of the creativity of some of the fans, the way that they're sending abuse, because they know they want to try and get around the problem or get around being detected. So it's quite a heavy lift. It's quite hard work at times to do that, but it is doable, and we can identify a lot of these people. And on the investigation side, there are lots of trails and evidence out there to pick up, and evidence that someone is sending abuse, who they are, where they might be coming from, what club they're affiliated to, which actually opens up and empowers action for the clubs to do something.
Jonathan, tell me, obviously, clearly Ray and I are from a kind of older generation, right, where we use social media. Never mind, I can see you smiling there, Jonathan, right? There's no need to smile when I say it. but we are of a generation, right? And my sons are clearly a lot more involved in it. But you tell me I'm wrong, mate. I don't think these social media companies do enough, right? I just don't think. Surely, is it difficult, or would it be a possibility, like anything else?
Open an account,
Open an account. Yeah. Be responsible for what you say, and in any other walk of life, you're responsible for your actions, Jonathan, right? Whether when you're outside in the street, surely it should be the same if you're on social media. You have to, people have. If you're going to make a statement, that's fine, but you have to stick by it, and you have to know who you are and be responsible for that statement.
Of course. I mean, of course, there should be more accountability. Of course, the platforms should be doing more and should be using more of their technology to pick up these things. But the reality is, especially in football, and we've seen it loads across this weekend with 3 or 4 Premier League clubs coming out and talking about, their players being targeted. Football fandom is really emotional. People throw things out there in the moment, and, they don't always mean it. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's extremely deliberate, and you can tell that as well. But it can be picked up. It can be picked up. And as I said before, it is possible to trace a lot of these accounts, not all of them, but a lot of these accounts, whether they're homegrown, whether they're in the UK, domestic football clubs, affiliated to domestic football clubs, or whether they're international. It is possible to do that. And yes, the platforms can absolutely do more. We've actually seen that change quite a lot over the last 5 or 6 years that we've been doing this. We've seen at the beginning the platforms weren't doing very much at all in this space. We've actually seen them try to do a lot more. We work quite closely with a number of the major platforms and try and share what we're seeing with them so that they can take more action. But, as I said before, the technology changes. They're the ones that are enabling that to happen. You would hope that they can do more to pick it up and to hold the users to account.
Jonathan, just a quick one before we let you go. There was obviously a very high-profile case of the lady getting jailed for something she put on. I don't know if it was an Instagram post or what it was. She put it up for a period, then took it off. But anyway, she was found guilty, whatever, and she got jailed. Is this the line? Is this the route we're going down?
No, I mean, you've got to be really careful about these things. And the way our company works, for example, we'll be really, really careful. It's not just AI that picks up the abuse. It's human analysts and experts that will review all of that. They'll make sure that the messages that are being picked up are rightfully taken to the right level in terms of action. If it has to go to law enforcement, then it has to be something pretty gruesome, very, very threatening. So, at those levels, it should move down that route. But actually, we do think that clubs can do a lot more. I mean, clubs can be empowered to take more action themselves, where a fan is affiliated to their club and you can evidence that opens up opportunities for the club to do something, whether that's an education process, a ban. And a ban means something.
Yeah.
You know, a season ticket holder having their season ticket taken away from them, that's a big deal. So, you know, the clubs can do more. Deterrents need to be brought in and need to be used across the game as much as possible.
Brilliant, Jonathan. Thanks for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, chaps. Take care.
Take care. Up next, we're going to speak to former Rangers and Sheffield United man John Fleck. Brilliant. Me Fleck is coming on after the Blades sent bitter rivals Wednesday down at a record early date yesterday.
There were reports that the night that Sean Dyche was sacked after that Wolves game, 4 or 5 senior players were called into Marinakis' boardroom and they essentially said, we're not loving this. And I don't like that. That feels unfair to someone like Sean Dyche. However, last night I think was great evidence because the players played with the reins off. They played with freedom. And I think it shows that how maybe unhappy some of those players were under Sean Dyche. The fact that they went to Istanbul, to a team unbeaten domestically under Dominic Tedesco, and absolutely played them off the park.
Yeah, on paper, Max, you look at your team. I mean,
I know, yeah.
Hudson-Odoi on the wide, on his
Gibbs-White.
day, he can do it. Hutchinson, you've got Gibbs-White, as you mentioned there. You've got Elliot Anderson in midfield as well. So you've got some top players.
I think he's the key, Elliot Anderson, because he's the dynamo, he's the driving force. And if he can win and keep them playing and get the balls to the danger men, then Forest have every chance.
Without a doubt. Look, and we all know that Elliot Anderson's destined for the top 4 team. You know, he's got the talent to be absolutely world class. The way that he moves, there are shades of Zidane about him. And I know that people will laugh at that, but he is something.
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters. But it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
7:34 it is, of course, Monday the 23rd of February. This is talkSPORT Breakfast, Ally and Ray, and indeed our good friends at Arnold Clark with over 20,000 used cars online to choose from. They without doubt will have the car for you. You're probably sick of hearing about it. Yes, you will be. Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy have their very own podcast. I'll let the boys explain.
Hello, this is Andy Goldstein.
Hey, I'm Jason Cundy.
And we're here to tell you about our brand new podcast, 21 Minutes to Go.
Well, it's not that news thing. It's been out for quite some time now, mate. It's about 5-6 months. It's been out for a while, mate.
Anyway, It only lasts 21 minutes, so we never know when the podcast is going to stop.
Could be in the middle of me telling a funny joke, a story.
Or it could be in the middle of me telling a funny anecdote.
Or it could be that time stinks where I had a 2-week ban at talkSPORT for calling the bosses a bunch of...
That's 21 Minutes to Go with me, Andy Goldstein, and Jason Cundy. Available wherever you get your podcast from, with new episodes dropping every Monday and Thursday.
I like it, boys. Yep.
I think 15 minutes would have been enough, wouldn't it?
I'm for taking away that 2 and making it a 1 minute podcast. Right? Well done, lads. Only joking. So you have 21 minutes to spare today. Go and check out the podcast. That's 20 minutes, 1 minute to go with Andy and Jason, available on your favourite podcast provider. Right, time to take another call. Gav. Gav's a Spurs fan. Gav, tell me you're slightly happier than George.
You ain't with George.
Please tell me, Gav. We're concerned about Lincoln George. We don't want to be concerned about you, Gav. How are you this morning, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, optimistic.
Good.
Personally, I would have preferred to have seen Harry go back for the rest of the season, as he's got a lot of knowledge with the club and also the Premier League. But can I just ask, did anybody genuinely expect Spurs to get anything from that game yesterday before the kick-off? Because I didn't.
Well,
why everyone's surprised and ranting on about, like, oh, you know, look, we got 12 players out, which is worse than last season. And
Gav, the only thing I would say to you in answer to that, mate, no, I didn't really, but then I looked at your second half performance against City, where I thought you were terrible first half, then you turn things around and you have a great performance second half, and I think to myself, is there a chance of that? But there wasn't.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I think there are 6 teams in the mix, and with 11 games to go, I don't think relegation will be an issue for us. Could be wrong,
no.
But,
I know. Well, certainly you're in a relegation battle, but I'm with Gav. I think Tottenham will have too much probably to go down. But one thing about it is that I'm a little bit with Gav there. I thought Harry Redknapp might have been the right option.
Just give everybody a lift.
And Harry would be bringing old players in and get people around his dressing room. And you know what Harry does well? He gets the best out of players. And I think for a short period of time, I think that would have worked.
I don't think
for Spurs. Now, look, I don't know what road was going down, but in this Tudor might do a really good job. Don't get me wrong, but I would have gone down the Harry route. And Harry come out and said, "Look, I'll take the job, no problem." So he's really up for it as well. Yeah. And Harry, I don't know, he's got that presence, isn't he? Where people are going to
generated a bit.
People are going to run a bit harder for him. Maybe I don't know. I would have gone down that road myself.
That's a difficult one. Really, a difficult one. All right, mate. We're going to move on. It's been a long time coming, but Sheffield Wednesday's fate was finally sealed yesterday afternoon. At the worst possible ground you couldn't make up, could you?
No.
Bramall Lane, excuse me, in the Steel City derby. We're now joined by a man who made 278 appearances for the Blades, scoring a brilliant free kick against Wednesday in 2017. It's Chesterfield midfielder John Fleck. Very good morning, Flecky. How are you?
Morning, John.
Fellas, on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price may vary.
All right,
I think John's in the drive-through, isn't he, John?
John, you've changed your voice a little bit there, Flecky, since the last time I spoke to you. Flecky, how are you this morning, mate?
John.
You there?
We're here. Can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I hear you, mate.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks for joining us this morning, pal. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all good. How are you keeping?
Great, mate. Life's good, pal. Cannot complain. I was looking at the Chesterfield result. You look, was it a 95th minute equaliser at the weekend?
It's happened a few times this season, to be fair. It's going well there, but just far too many draws up to this stage.
Good stuff, Flecky. What about The game at the weekend, man, I was just, I don't know, you felt, anybody, maybe you boys didn't, but I think a lot of people down here, a lot of sympathy for Sheffield Wednesday, the way the club was getting run and all that kind of stuff. There was obviously an inevitability about them going down, right? That was always going to happen, but you couldn't make it up against Sheffield United, could you?
No, I know. I think with some other results on the Saturday as well, it could have turned that around for them, but obviously went against them in that sense. I think most United fans kind of feel for them a little bit as well. There'll also be a few out there who's more than happy, as you say, but yeah, I think, especially for the players and the manager, they've given it a good go, but I think ultimately there's probably too many young kids in the team at the same time, and it's not their fault.
Yeah. John, I've got to ask you about the start of the season for Sheffield United was a disaster. Chris Wilder coming back in. We know, look, everybody knows Chris knows the club inside out, unbelievable, and he's done a brilliant job at it again, isn't he? To get in mid-table, and you're only 6 points. Sheffield United only 6 points off Wrexham in the playoffs, which we know the Championship's so competitive. And if you can get a run of results, you can really shoot up that league very quickly. So Sheffield United has still got every chance of still making those playoffs.
Yeah, and to be fair, obviously, as you say, a disastrous start after making the change at the end of last season to bring a new manager in, which also didn't work. And to be fair to the owners, they went back and got the right man.
Yeah.
And I said as soon as they went back, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up there or thereabouts for the playoffs by the time the season's out.
Flecky, what is it about that Championship? We speak about it. Amazing. Most Mondays, man. I mean, it's absolutely, it's compulsive watching. I mean, that league probably more than most, any team is more than capable of beating MD around about them. I mean, you look at Coventry, for example. They lost their way a little bit. They dipped a couple of brilliant results, particularly against Middlesbrough. Millwall have been up there flying. Wrexham, a ridiculous result at the weekend, 4-5. Portsmouth
beating Millwall.
So, some incredible results. It must be as tough a division as you played in, mate.
It's very difficult. Obviously, I think Coventry were 14, 15 points clear at one stage, I think. And then you just got on that. Obviously, most teams go through that little streak where they start losing games, and it's just how quickly you can get back on the horse reel and get riding again. But yeah, they seem to have done that the last few games. I think they drew against Oxford at the weekend, but I've watched Coventry and I watched Middlesbrough against Sheffield United the other week actually, and they're certainly two of the best teams I've seen.
Flecky, moving up the north of the border, I mean, ex-Sheffield Wednesday man, Danny Rose come in. I've got to say, mate, I think he has done a phenomenal job. He really has done an incredible job with Rough. I know he's got a few in himself in January, he got a few players in himself, but Rangers were really, really toiling, as low as they've been in a long, long time. He's come in, and with the same group of players, he started to win games that that weren't winning, they were losing, they were drawing, and he's still got a long way to go, mate. But the turnaround's been remarkable.
Yeah, I think he's been, as you say, obviously watching from afar, really, and speaking to people up there. It's been great. I also try and watch the games when I can. I caught the last 10 minutes of the game yesterday. Also speaking to people like Barry Bannon and things when he was at Wednesday. They had a lot of good things to say about Danny, and yeah, long may it continue. He's obviously closed the gap, or to Hearts it is now, but hopefully it's a big end to the season for them.
There might have been a penalty, John, in that last 10 minutes. I felt, I don't know, you thought yourself, gee, you kidding me on, mate. What did you think? I mean, I was throwing things at the telly, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know. If there was no VAR, I'd certainly be fighting for penalty, but I think after seeing it back in the video, I think the first contact was, I think the actual contact was just outside the box.
What about Hearts? You've been impressed. They've done really well. Derek's done phenomenally well, hasn't he?
Been brilliant. Can
they stay there?
There's a way Rangers and Celtic keep dropping points. It looks that way, doesn't it? But they've certainly, even when they have to grind out results, when men get sent off and things like that. I seen that a couple of weeks ago, 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Early red cards and grinding the results out. So, there's certainly, why not?
What result they want next week, Hearts?
I know.
Rangers Celtic.
They would want a draw.
Celtic, draw?
I think Rangers, what do you think, John? I think they'd probably want a draw.
Because they've got a game in hand.
I think that'd be the best out for them. It's got to be.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Well, man, brilliant to see you. Thanks for taking the time to join us, John. Keep up a good work.
Good luck, John.
You keep playing as long as you can, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Great to see you. John Fleck, former Sheffield United Rangers midfielder, playing his trade at Chesterfield.
7th in the league at the moment, Chesterfield. So they've got every chance.
Cookie.
Yeah,
Maybe you get.
They've got Barnet away next week, which Barnet about 9th or 10th. So, yeah. Good league as well, that is, by the way.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
City fans, you want to hear from you this morning as well. Arsenal getting carried away again. Give us the answers to that. Whose hands would you say the title race is in? 03717 22 33 44. That is the number to call. That was a look at the latest EFL action, thanks to McDonald's.
EFLers on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price may vary.
I'll tell you why I'm not worried. Because if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, major, then it has to go. All right?
No, I disagree with that.
No, well, you would, wouldn't you? But we don't sack managers every other week.
But you can't sack
right?
a manager who gets to the latter stages of every competition. You can't. You can't.
You can, mate. When the pattern emerges.
You can sack them.
The
you
pattern
sack him?
emerges. Chelsea did it.
It depends what they do.
They won things.
John,
Okay, here's a question: would you sack Arteta if they finish second in?
Well, what happens in the
Premier
Champions League?
They lose in the final.
What happens in the Carabao Cup?
Lose in the final.
FA Cup?
Lose in the final.
No, mate, he's got to go. You can't.
You're gonna sack him.
You can't get
It's
to
the
three
four finals.
You can't get to three finals and finish second. You can't. That to me tells that is all the evidence. That, no, you well done. It's a little bit like what Claudio Ranieri done at Chelsea. Chelsea he finished second that season. We beat Arsenal in the semi-final, quarter-final of the Champions League. Got beat by Monaco. Jose comes in. We've gone from second to the quarter-finals to almost winning. We won the title.
Monday, 23rd of February, it is exactly 7:49. Ally and Ray with you this morning. This is, of course, talkSPORT Breakfast. Now, Crystal Palace, they got a much-needed second consecutive victory, beating Wolves 1-0 with a late goal at Selhurst Park. There was a banner displayed by Palace fans calling out both Glasner and the board. Here's what Glasner said post-match.
This is the way they can express their opinion, because they can't talk directly, and then it's okay. Everybody can express his opinion, and I was praised very often. And on the other side, I will always say what I think, because that I always did. And then maybe when I get criticized, I have to deal with it. So it's no problem. We are not in the best moment. On the other side, it's, I think, still second best season in Premier League history at this stage of the Premier League. That's why I said, okay, yes, we're not really pleased, all of us, with this performance. And I said, okay, for all of us, and I include myself as well, because I think I'm the most ambitious one, and I'm always want more and more. And also myself say, okay, stay humble, Oliver Glasner, stay humble. It's Crystal Palace, we are on track, but now it's time. Or it's always time. It's to stick together, to support each other.
Where are you? It's an interesting one.
I think they're about where they should be, shouldn't they?
I know, so do I.
In the league,
I was a little bit concerned for them. You know,
they lost a lot of players. Yeah, obviously, Gay was a big loss as well.
Was. You look at the players. And I can see. Look at the players they've lost. Now, it's an interesting one, because I think Oliver Glasner has helped give Palace perhaps some of the greatest times in the club's history.
Absolutely. Right. That last year FA Cup, they always remember that the rest of their lives. People who
I was there, fully deserved in performance against Liverpool Community Shield. I just thought it was absolutely out of this world. But there's no doubt they've turned a little bit. And I think...
Well, it was in the week, wasn't it, as well?
And I don't think he kind of helped himself with some of his comments as well.
Yeah. I think he's frustrated, though. I think he's not been helped. He's lost a lot of players. He needs that little bit of more of a push. Every manager needs more players, don't they? They want more quality, more to help his job out. Yeah. And if he's not getting it, he's frustrated about it.
I think you're right. You look at the players they've lost, whether it's Eze, Elise, Anderson went to Fulham, I think, didn't they?
Fantastic players they've lost.
Great players, mate. But the last 18 months, they've been fantastic.
But 13th in the league, they're still 3 points off Bournemouth in 8th place. So, they're still around that top middle part of the table. I thought they could.
Sure they are.
I thought they could get sucked into that relegation battle, but now they've had a couple of results.
I did, mate.
They've pushed them away from that now, so they'll be safe. There's no doubt about that. But now it's all about the Conference League now. Yeah. They will get through. There's no doubt about that. It wasn't a great result away from home because the other side wasn't very good, but they will certainly win at Selhurst Park, and they can still win a trophy this year.
They could.
That'll be a good sending off.
Of course it would, mate. It'd be terrific. Right, we're going to move on. Change of sport now, Ray. Huge drama. I mean, absolutely incredible. This is in the boxing world. As Conor Benn joined Dana White's Rough of Boxing, bringing an end to his decade-long partnership with Matchroom Boxing. Benn admitted the decision wasn't easy, but said the offer on the table was one he simply couldn't turn down. Matchroom Boxing chief Eddie Hearn told IFL TV he has regrets about how the situation unfolded.
I'm not going to hang him out to dry, and he will say, well, it was a big offer, right? But, when I received the email from his lawyer, I texted him and said, I think we should have a call. I think for everything I've done for you, I think I deserve a call. And he said no. And I was like, man, I can't believe it. I don't know what to say other than felt that everything that we gave him, the loyalty that we gave him, the support we gave him would be enough to talk it through, or just, get close to a number, but it wasn't really the interest. So very, very surprising, very, very painful, but just another moment in life that you live and learn from. I don't really know what to say.
There you go. I mean, it's incredible.
I think I'm with Eddie a little bit there. An email to say of what he's gone through with all the situations.
You've got to pick a phone up. Surely you have to pick a phone
up. Go for a coffee or something and have a chat.
You go
one-to-one, look each other in the eyes and say, look, Connor, is that because you're getting punched in the face every week? You want to try and earn as much money as you can. I can see what he wants to do. The offer's unbelievable, too good to turn down, but there's ways to do it, isn't there?
Went through a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not just Eddie.
Eddie's always stuck behind
100%. Now, before more than this, I'm going to have to say I'm absolutely delighted that we're joined by talkSPORT boxing pundit, one of the best in the business. There's no doubt about that. Gareth A. Davis. Gareth, a very good morning, my friend. How are you?
How you doing, Gareth?
Very good, Ray. Very good, Ali. How are you, gents?
We're in top form, Gareth. We're in top form. Thanks for asking. Now, I'm going to say to some Jimmy, this is actually shocking news, is it not? I mean, I was really stunned when I heard this. Where are you on it?
Yeah, it was groundbreaking news, and it really did feel like the ultimate act of betrayal.
Yeah.
As Mickey Duff said, if you want loyalty in boxing, get a dog, and people will have heard that a few times over the last few days. And I think, given the backdrop that Eddie Hearn, 10 years Conor Benn had been with him, and the last 3 years, obviously through the whole clomiphene drug testing affair when Ben tested positive for clomiphene, Eddie stuck through with him like a pillar of strength. And I think with that, given that backdrop, you can understand those feelings of betrayal that Eddie Hearn feels, and the fact that he wasn't able to put his side to Conor Benn. But you know, the young man in his late 20s now has been drawn by the dazzling lights of Las Vegas and Dana White and Turkey Al Sheikh and Zuffa Boxing, and he's not going to. I've seen the interviews he's given over the weekend, and you know, he's thinking of his family and he's thinking of the future, but he's definitely not thinking of Eddie Hearn. It's all business, and you can put friendship to one side over this.
Look, see, looking at regard, I've been reading a couple of quotes on it, and Eddie came out and said he hadn't spoken to Dana White for a couple of weeks. I think he was on Steve Bunch's podcast. He said he hadn't spoken to him, but the interesting thing, Dana White's come out and said his aim is to take over boxing, right? So this is going to be some struggle, this, isn't it?
Well, I think we are seeing the power struggle, and that's the issue, that Dana White and Turkey Al Sheikh together are very powerful presence in the sport, and they're going to slowly kind of infiltrate. Infiltrate is not the word. They're going to buy out the biggest names. Conor Benn now fits into that group of fighters: Keyshawn Davis, Ryan Garcia, Shaka Stevenson. They're going to get all these guys because these are what we call the princes of American boxing right now. And there's little secret to the fact that they are talking to these guys behind the scenes. And even though the Zuffa and Turkey Al Sheikh will build from the bottom up, they're building from the top down as well. You know, they've signed Jaya Pataya, they've signed Andy Ruiz, who obviously is later in his boxing career, heavyweight boxing career, and defeated Anthony Joshua. But at the moment, because Turkey Al Sheikh's got, or Sella, the media company that works for the Saudi Arabians, have I think it's a 40 or 60% stake in Zuffa Boxing. Turkey Al Sheikh has the Ring magazine. Turkey Al Sheikh has shares in DAZN as well. He's controlling a lot of the chessboard from both sides, but both the black and the white players in many ways. So,
well, it looks as though Gareth might be unstoppable, no?
No, he is unstoppable. He's got... look, money's always spoken in boxing, and it's speaking at the moment. Conor Benn's getting 15 million for his first fight with Zuffa Boxing, and he can see the prospect of more and more exciting big matchups for himself against these names that I just mentioned. He's never won a world title, but when he had those two fights with Chris Eubank last year, underwritten and paid, by the way, by Turkey Al Sheikh, of course, and Ring magazine. Yeah. So he was getting bought out at that time in many ways, psychologically, mentally. The build is towards controlling the sport, and I don't think it'll change. Look, you look back in 1988. I was thinking about Sol Campbell, Ray, and because I was an Arsenal correspondent at the time, back in 2001 when he left Spurs suddenly, and that shocked the world to come to Arsenal. When you look in boxing in 1988. When Mike Tyson suddenly left his long-term mentor and manager Bill Caton to go to Don King, the dazzling Don King at the time, who was a similar kind of figure, I suppose, to these modern masters in the sport, these modern promoters. We do see these things happen sometimes, but I think this case is particularly alarming to everyone, simply because of the shock that we thought that Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn looked like lifers together.
Yeah. Listen, Gareth, thanks very much. I'll leave you on this note. The one thing I was delighted to see over the weekend was the public apology to Steve Bunce from John.
Oh, yeah. I just mentioned that.
I thought that was well deserved and earned, because I thought, Buncey didn't deserve that, mate.
But like myself, Buncey has always covered in depth the Fury family, and has probably gone out on a limb at times to try and explain the workings of things in the background. It was very bizarre at the time. I was very close to John myself physically during that moment when he was letting off steam. Froch versus Fury, Carl Froch versus John Fury on the undercard on April the 11th at Tottenham. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Gareth, brilliant, mate. Keep up the good work. We'll speak to you soon. Have a good week, mate.
Hey, mate.
Cheers, gents. Great show this morning.
Thank you very much, Gareth. And the Spurs fans, you want to hear from me this morning after another painful derby defeat? Can Igor Tudor turn things around at Spurs, or are Spurs sleepwalking straight their way to relegation? Give us a call, 03717 223344. Very next we'll be joined by this man.
Guys, this is it. This is the truth. You can't run away from the facts. You guys need to get your act together ASAP.
That's right, we're in for it, that's right. Well, it says here, loudmouth Arsenal fan, Joe Beer. I mean, loudmouth? No, that's a bit harsh. He'll be with us next, and I imagine he'll be absolutely...
Right.
He's going to be buzzing by
pounds, mate. He's pounds,
mate. City fans, give us a call and tell us why you aren't worried about the Gunners. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Higher.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Just unbelievable how things have changed so dramatically just from like a 190-minute game where Arsenal
but it's not one 90-minute game, though.
No, it's not.
It's been a few weeks now.
No, you're right. But if Arsenal win that 2-0 compared to drawing it 2-2, the narrative is so different. The point, it's so... We're talking about now, you said it last night, Championship rounds, we are there. We're approaching that time now.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny thing, right, is that it's... Man City, right? They're not putting Arsenal under pressure. This is not like Man City and Liverpool going toe to toe, where City win, Liverpool win, City win, Liverpool draw, City win, Liverpool win, City. And do you remember that under Klopp and Pep, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I remember when Chelsea were going toe to toe with Man United. You know, there'll be that they win, and you have to go. And there's like the points difference was minute, and every result mattered. The only reason that Man City are back in this title race ain't because of Man City. It's because of Arsenal. That's the reason they're back in it. Not that Man City are like...
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles," and some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story, though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Yes, here we go. 5 minutes past 8. It is Monday the 23rd of February. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. Ally and Arsenal Invincible Ray Parlour with you this morning. Right, let's waste no time about it. For the 5th London derby in a row, Arsenal have beaten Spurs, and it was the Eberechi Eze show once again.
His name is Eberechi Eze, and he makes it look easy.
It's Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1, Eberechi Eze. He could have signed for Spurs, remember, but he's a hat-trick hero for Arsenal.
Saka goes through and Eze should score another and does.
61 minutes played, Tottenham 1, Arsenal 3, Eberechi Eze at the double.
They're still laughing at me about
Pounds. Do you know Ibs?
Right. After drop points versus Brentford and Wolves, Arsenal fans were starting to feel the pressure. But it's nothing a trip to Dr. Tottenham to ease the nerves. Let's get right into this from our resident Arsenal fan and content creator, Joel Bayer. Joel, a very good morning, my friend.
Joel.
How are you?
Good morning to the both of you. It's probably the best morning I've had all year. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's looking at saying difficult game for Arsenal. Was it only a difficult game for Arsenal because they had a poor result against Wolves?
I think so. We have to be honest. The pressure was on, but yesterday itself, it was light work. It was really light work lane. It really was like completely easy. The only pressure was on because City had got the result against Newcastle. But besides that, you cannot compare the two teams.
I think the betting firms 2-5 on. I think Arsenal were before the game, so they expected Arsenal to win.
Yeah.
But you still got to go and do the job, which they've done in good style in the end. But I thought they started really well, Joel. I mean, that first 15 minutes, I think the Tottenham fans really got behind their team. There's no doubt about that. The atmosphere is superb. Yeah. But I think the first 15 minutes, controlled possession, looked like, they knew exactly what their game plan was. And when you score that first goal, I was a little bit concerned, I must admit, when they equalised that quickly, because that's one thing you always say.
Well, it was so unlike Declan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And Declan, fair play to him, but he's put his hands up and made a mistake, which everybody makes mistakes. And I thought in the end he played really well, Declan,
exactly.
In that midfield area, the engine room, as I call it.
Exactly.
See, but that's the thing. And I look at somebody like Declan, right? Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. But see, when he made that mistake, the one thing you knew about Declan Rice...
It's not going to affect his game.
Not going to affect his game.
But you saw his attitude. You saw the way he reacted and he was galvanising everyone, going, come on, let's go. Right. And that's what you expect from the future England captain.
And what is it about Tottenham with Eze? I know he nearly signed for him.
It's unbelievable, eh?
You know what? I think it's a mixture of Tottenham itself. If you look at the stats, it's 7 goals in 3 games. It's 5 goals in 2, right? So it's amazing stats. But also you have to remember the disappointment of not playing or starting against Wolves. You know, someone like him, even Victor Gyökeres, who I'm sure we're going to talk about soon, it shows mentality, man. These guys, it's not about how you start, it's about how you end the season. Do
you know what about it as well? When he scored that hat-trick against Spurs, he sort of had that, he made one really bad mistake at Aston Villa away when he was ball watching and Matty Cash got him round the back and he ended up scoring. And then he seemed to lose a bit of confidence and he didn't play him for 5 games. He was left out, wasn't he?
Strange.
For quite a while. Yeah. But you could see yesterday, he always wanted the ball, he's enjoying
hungry.
It. He was really enjoying playing.
Well, let's talk about the other fella you knew were going to mention, Gyökeres.
Yes.
I think it's the best game I've seen him play for Arsenal.
100%.
I thought he was absolutely terrific. I thought he held the ball up well. I just thought, I know he scored a couple of goals, Joe, but I just thought his overall game intelligence was a lot better.
No, much better.
Yeah.
Much
He
better.
looked fitter, you know. He's always been strong, but he was holding the ball better yesterday, which has been a criticism. We've seen him. He scored the majority of his goals against Leeds, which I said last week. I was on the show with Gabby. But besides that, I've seen him play well against Newcastle. I've seen him have a few good games in the Champions League. But in the Premier League, that was it. And we have to be mindful because as much of a slow start that he's had.
How many goals he got?
He's got 10 goals this season. So is Ekitike, you know. And Mbuemo's got 9. Haaland's leading the pack with 22, you know.
How many goals he got in all competitions?
15.
I think his expectation.
So that's 4 in the Champions League, 1 in the EFL.
I ain't bad.
It's not bad at the moment. And if he does well over the next 10 games in the Premier League, and we've still got the Champions League and, of course, Carabao.
He's also not going to start every game and play every minute. So I don't think that is a bad return for a centre-forward.
No.
And if he's clearly not going to be finished there, he'll keep going to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think his goal return at the end of the season will be more than acceptable.
No, it's true. I think he finishes on 25.
Wouldn't argue. A couple of callers for you, Joe, a couple of Tottenham fans on the phone here. This could be interesting. First of all, we've got John, the Spurs fan. John, how are you this morning, John?
How you doing, John?
Oh, yeah, a lot of fairy tale, mate. Grim.
How's it
You
going?
ain't with George, are you?
John,
poor
tell me.
George. Poor George.
Did you hear George earlier on the phone? George, you've got to be a little bit higher than George, John, surely.
No, not at all. Why should we be high? Yesterday, right, I'm not having it. If you look at it, Wolves in the week, you'd have had Arsenal odds on to go there and turn Wolves over. Wolves rolled their sleeves up, fought, battled, got a point.
Good
what
point.
did we do yesterday? We just rolled over.
Yeah.
It's a North London derby, right? We're in a relegation fight. You had twofold, didn't you? Stopping Arsenal winning the title, us getting out of trouble. And what did we do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think the players, they've got to look at themselves, because I'll tell you what, the way it's going, I can't see us winning enough games to keep us up. I really can't. We ain't got it in us. We ain't got a fight. We ain't got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'll tell you what, that's a good point, John. I must admit.
Very difficult to argue with that.
Yeah. And he said it after the game, the Tudor. He said, we need to run more. We, put a bit more energy.
What about that?
Yeah.
That should be a prerequisite.
That should
That's
be
a given.
exactly. That should be the basic of all bases. I mean, you got 29 points, John. West Ham still creeping up behind you. It's not looking good, is it? Really?
No, it's not. I can't see it. I mean, what are you looking at? Two more wins, 3 more wins. We got Fulham away. We never really do well there. You know Fulham are going to fight. We ain't got no fight in us. We've got nothing. We're absolutely. I mean, Jed Spence, his attitude is shocking. On the left-hand side, I don't care what anyone says. He's very lethargic, very laid back. There's nothing. We got nothing that says we're going to get out of trouble.
John, I got one question for you. Who do you hate more, Eberechi Eze or Sol Campbell?
Oh, God.
Oh, they're both in the same envelope, mate.
Oh, mate.
I would have said it's got to be Sol.
Okay, is it still Sol? Are you sure? How many games till it becomes Eze?
Nah, Sol Campbell.
All right.
I think he would nick it, Sol, definitely.
John, for all it's worth, mate, I think you might be all right. I'm not sure that's the greatest vote of confidence you're needing, but thanks for the call, mate. We've always got Brian, the Spurs fan. Brian, very good morning. How are you this morning?
Morning, Brian.
Good morning yourself, gents. How are you doing? Good.
We're in good form, Brian. What did you think of your team's performance at the weekend? I'm guessing you'd be very disappointed.
I want to reiterate what the last caller said, and he's hit the nail on the head. Let's forget about what George said earlier on.
Yeah. At least George, poor old George has put a few smiles on our faces here.
Well, going back to what the last caller said, I'm with him on the same page. I honestly believe Spurs will get relegated on the basis that the players are running the club. When I watched that performance yesterday, and as soon as we went 2 goals down, the heads dropped very quickly. I see the manager giving instructions for Mickey van der Ven to close the lines, close the gap between the lines, the CDM and the fullback, get the lines tighter. He asked Dragerson to get tighter to him, and no response. My opinion is the players will relegate their club, and I'm sorry to say that, because the only way those players get to go on their move to their dream club, like Liverpool, Mickey van der Ven, is if the club get relegated. And there's a few of those senior players that, as the previous caller said, are not rolling their sleeves up. They've had enough of the club's ambitions with the transfer policy. Romero coming out criticising the transfer policy, and I can tell you now, his tackle, that is a tackle that screams, I don't care.
Do you know something? Yeah, I'll be honest with you, but I think
there's a real disconnection.
You make a lot of good
absolutely.
Good
both good callers.
Because I think what Brian is saying there as well, and it can be backed up, there have been previous incidents with previous managers where there look as though there has been a kind of lack of respect between player and coach and player and manager. If you've got that in your dressing room, it ain't good.
And also the disconnection with the fans and the players. That isn't good either. And Arsenal went through that period when there was a bit of a disconnection, but then suddenly it got better.
We saw that with Unai Emery, isn't it?
And suddenly, you look at Spurs, they're a little bit like that now. And there's no excuse, Ali. You can have a bad game. Everybody has bad games.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse for not rolling your sleeves up and having a go. And I think Tottenham fans will be looking at it yesterday and say, come on, give us a little bit more in that second half. Give us a little bit of hope.
I don't disagree. Don't disagree. Joe, you must be delighted with things.
Yeah, is Brian still on the line at the moment?
No,
he's not.
He's gone round to George's. He's
gone away for a coffee with George.
I was going to ask. Oh, he is still there, actually. I was going to ask Brian, what's your thoughts on Pochettino potentially coming back to the club? Will he be the saviour? Because you can't blame Daniel Levy now, can you? He's gone.
No, again, going back to that, it's as I said, we've got senior players in the club. We know what they've said about the, that they're not happy with the transfer policy and the way the club's run. Pochettino coming back, great. But the fact of the matter is right now, even if Poch did come back next season, you're going to be losing a lot of those senior players. The Mickey van der Vens, the Romeros, and your senior players, your Colomani and all these players, and going to want to be playing championship football. So they get their dream move, and the club get relegated on the basis that they get their dream move. But if the club stays in the Premier League, they're not going anywhere. You understand? So they're not going anywhere. He doesn't get his move. And for me, the players are running the club, and doesn't matter what manager currently you get in right now, it's a recipe for a disaster, absolute disaster.
Brian, brilliant call, mate. Really appreciate it.
We said that in the break, didn't we? We said, how many good managers have they had, Tottenham?
Correct.
And they've all really fouled.
It's true.
There must be some sort of...
It can't
be. Deeper.
There was some good managers.
Yeah. I mean,
top class managers.
Conte, Mourinho. I mean, really big managers.
All fouled, yeah.
Poch, what's going on?
Are you quite happy with things? Are we a bit concerned about City? Or?
You know what? I was on Saturday. I was getting away with it. Rio messaged me in the group and I said, Rio, we've got City right where we want them, But it turns out that Wolves result in the long run could be exactly what we needed. Sometimes you need a real kick up the backside. And I really believe, I love the way the players came out this week. I don't know if you saw some of the interviews, Ray. You had players like Declan Rice saying, that wasn't good enough. The manager saying, any bullet that we receive, we deserve it. We have to take it. Doesn't matter what jokes we get. I even saw Mikel receiving questions about Arsenal bottling it. That must have been embarrassing. They've all seen it on social media, but they did the right thing. They reacted the way they should, like champions.
I definitely think it's going to go down to the wire. I mean, that game at the City, the Etihad, I think it's in April, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's huge for both clubs.
Bro, need to take a break, guys. I've got people screaming in my right ear. Thanks very much, pal. Take a short break.
Cheers.
got to talk about Celtic. You know that the title. I don't. You've been away, right? The title's blown open now. Celtic favourites, Rangers second favourite, Hearts third.
Yeah.
And I've been whinging, right? And maybe I shouldn't because I don't go regular now. But I've been whinging about Celtic's lack of creation in midfield. It really annoyed me. I'm looking at the midfield saying, "Come on, we're better than that." Anyway, they got absolutely gubbed last night. But what I didn't know was, right from the first whistle, the old tennis balls came on.
Yeah. Martin O'Neill said something about it.
All I'm saying is this, right? I'm not trying to cover up a shocking result. Celtic got pumped, absolutely pumped, 4-1. But I'm not talking about that because Stuttgart are probably a decent side, better than Celtic.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the players any good when you start that carry on.
Well, it gives the away team a lift as well.
As Martin said, Stuttgart players would know about the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all these tennis balls come on, they're saying, "Oh, lovely."
We were talking about. I think Martin was talking about when Juventus, they were scared to go to Celtic Park. You know, the atmosphere, the hostility, all that sort of stuff. It's not an easy place to go and play, probably as a European side, but they make it probably easier.
I'm going to upset a few now. Celtic fans, did you throw a tennis ball after the first kick?
Okay, what time we go? 8:22, Monday the 23rd of February. Ally and Ray with you this morning on talkSPORT Breakfast. We are getting straight to get the latest odds with a man who's had a brilliant weekend. It's going to be Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here to make this Cheltenham Festival more rewarding. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-o, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Steve-o.
A very, very good morning.
Up the Pompey.
What a result.
Good morning, Ray. Morning, Alec. Yeah, indeed. Look, we've enjoyed our 2 trips to South London last week, winning at Charlton, which was a huge result because they're down the bottom with us. But then going to Millwall, who are flying high, winning 3-1 there. Absolutely tremendous. Put a little bit of distance between us now and the bottom, but I'm not getting carried away because that Championship, top and bottom, is so tough, as we all know. And just while we're on the Championship, a very quick word about the top. Obviously, another great weekend for Coventry.
Wasn't
Frank
it?
Lampard. Yeah, they're now odds on. I think it's the first time for a while because they had that big lead, obviously, then a wobble. They're 4-5. This is to win the Championship. 9-4 Borough, 9-2 Ipswich. But as I say, they've steadied the ship and they're looking good. But Ali, before we come back to the football and plenty, obviously, Scottish title, Premier League title, Ray, I want to talk about, we've got to go back to Friday night.
Oh, mate, they're talking about Melbourne now. What's going on?
Well, we spoke regularly last week, but
we did.
You asked me on one day, you said, look, how short can his champion hurdle odds be if he wins at Sutherland? And I said, well, look, it's a flat race. It won't answer any questions about his hurdling. I don't think we can do too much. Well, not for the first time in my career. I was completely wrong because he was so impressive, Ray. I don't know if you've got a chance to see it.
Yeah.
His first time on the flat. Okay, it wasn't the greatest field, but there was a couple of decent yardsticks, and he bolted up under Oisin Murphy. And it was generally one of those wow moments that the engine is very much still there, which I think we all knew.
Yeah.
He's 9-4 favourite for the Champion Hurdle. Now, you mentioned Melbourne, Ali, and this is where it becomes interesting because Nicky Henderson, the trainer, and Michael Buckley, the owner.
How emotional was he, by the way, after the race? It was great, wasn't it?
Do you know what? It really was. Nicky's a top man. Michael Buckley's a great owner. They were emotional. There were tears.
Brilliant.
The crowd loved it at Sutherland. A really young crowd. And they got right behind it. And now, of course, they have this decision. Do they go hurdling? He's fallen in 3 of his last 4 starts. Michael Buckley came out yesterday and said, I fancy the Melbourne Cup. Now, that's not till November. He's 25-1 for that, by the way. So he wouldn't be a back marker. There's races on the flat he could run in.
Yeah.
Will he run at Cheltenham next? So I don't think he will.
No.
Our traders disagree. We're 4-7, 7-4 on. He does run. 5-4 he doesn't. Although the no has shortened from 6-4. It's going to be fascinating, but Nicky Henderson spoke beautifully to Ollie Bell on ITV Racing on Saturday, and he said how great it was, how the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
And then he followed that by saying, but I'm fully aware we can undo all the good work in 10 seconds. And it's going to be... do you know what? You think owning a horse like Constitution Hill would be wonderful. I do not envy them the decision. If he was yours, Ali, Ray, would you run him at Cheltenham?
He's a pet now. He'd be my pet now.
Well, here's the question for you.
Put him in the field.
Here's a question for you, Steve, all right? Is there more pressure on owner and trainer because of the public affection for the horse? There has to be.
Of course. You saw, as I say, the crowd, how they loved it and the photos they wanted, not just with the horse, but with Nicky and Michael, the human face of it.
Of course.
He's public property, which all the great horses do become. The Corto Stars, the Denmans of this world, they become public property. The chance to see him win a Champion Hurdle could be amazing. It could be one of the great I was there moments.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is, if he didn't get round, if he fell again and sustained injury, it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
But as I say, he could well end up down under in November. It's going to be a great journey to follow what they decide to do, but I do not envy them.
And just going on back to football, Steve-O, tonight, big game. Obviously, Manchester United will be looking at the results over the weekend. Yeah. And I know Liverpool got a bit lucky, last-minute goal, but they'll be looking at Chelsea, and they say, look, we can take full advantage tonight if they go to Everton, who, Everton a little bit hit and miss at home, aren't they?
Yeah, I think, look, new stadiums, as we all know, we've seen at West Ham, Tottenham, Arsenal, they can take time. Everton haven't really settled into Hill Dickinson yet. Now, in terms of top 4, we think that final top 4, Arsenal, Man City, Villa, we think it's between Liverpool and Manchester United. It's 8-11, Liverpool 8-11, Manchester United. So United really have to come out and win this race, don't they? Keep the pressure on Liverpool. They are a very, very shade of odds on to do so. 11-4 Everton, same price the draw. I can see it being a draw. I know Michael Carrick's had an unbelievable start, but I don't believe this United team have become world beaters under him. As I say, top 4 up for grabs tonight. But Ray, I've got to go back to your boys. Massive, wasn't it? I mean, you must have been absolutely buzzing. You must still be buzzing. After City won at Newcastle, you had to go out and get the 3 points. You're back in now, 2-1 on to win the title. 6-4 Manchester City, but still a long, long way to go, isn't there?
Steve, I've got to ask you just quickly, because I'm sure George is still listening. Can you just give him a little bit of a perk up with the relegation odds, please? Just say George. Tottenham is not going to go down, please.
I'm led to believe it doesn't live far for you, Stevie. Taking a wee run round and seeing George, will you, for me?
George has been the star of the show.
It's been brilliant.
Perhaps didn't want to be. I'm afraid it isn't good news, George.
Better than Rainbow, this is George.
Tottenham are in a relegation fight. Make no mistake about it. They're into 4-1 from 5-1 to be relegated. West Ham and Nottingham Forest, along with Burnley and Wolves, the only team shorter. They are right in it. But Ali, I just got to quickly touch on Hearts. Now,
come on then. You were boldly shouting even money Celtic, 2-1 Rangers and 3-1 Hearts, by the way. I've got to say, before you go any further, if we don't get penalties that we should have got in the last one at the weekend, we could be 15-1. We've no chance of winning it if we're not getting penalties like that, as it happens.
The good news is, Ali, Rangers are still 2-1 for the title. The same price as Celtic. For the first time, Hearts are favourites.
Wow.
6-4.
Wow.
After a brilliant weekend. Ali, just very quickly, I know it's going to be hard for you. Take your Rangers hat off. How big an achievement would this be if Hearts can go on to win this Scottish Premiership?
Up there with Leicester. It would be up there with Leicester, mate. I'm telling you right now. And the amount of people that are hoping it happens up the road, you know, that don't really have affinity to either Rangers or Celtic, you've no idea. I mean, to a man and a woman and a child, everybody's wanting it to happen. I mean, they did the business at the weekend. They got over the line with 1-0 victory against Falkirk, and Celtic losing at home.
Have they got a few injuries, Ellie, or not?
They've got one or two, but one or two coming back as well. Got one or two coming back. It would be incredible, Steve-o. But listen, the one thing it's not up for debate, it's been really interesting. It's been fun so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, mate. Didn't get a chance to get ripped into about English Test rugby, but I'm sure I'll maybe if you're on tomorrow,
Don't worry about that.
I'll make up for it, mate.
Cheers, Dave.
Pal. Absolutely brilliant. Now that was a look at today's latest odds with Coro. 18+, gambleaware.org. Legendary rugby head coach, and a man I can talk to about English rugby. It's Eddie Jones, and Eddie will be joining us next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here to make this Cheltenham Festival more rewarding. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Do you doubt that Jermaine can take Moses Atoma into the later rounds?
I think he's going to get knocked out. I do. I think I just know. And by the way, saying someone's going to get knocked out is not meant to be disrespectful. I'm not disrespecting Jermaine. I'm looking at the fight, looking at Moses Atoma, looking at what I've seen from Jermaine. And I think that ideally, I don't want to see an early fight. I want to see a good fight. I want to see Jermaine stick it on Moses Atoma. I want to see a good fight. And ultimately, we have an enjoyable evening watching two good fighters put something out. But I think Moses, I don't think he's been in with someone as quick and as fast and at this stage in his career. Going in with Anthony Joshua and Dillian White at their stages in their career is not the same going in with Moses. But on the other side of it, Moses isn't as experienced and as wise as those two fighters.
And that's
there's a trade-off. But I think, personally, with due respect to the man sitting next to me, I think he's going to get knocked out by Moses.
But there's nothing to suggest that he will get knocked out because he's never been knocked down, never been knocked out.
And I'm happy to be wrong.
No, but what I'm saying
is
he's been, yeah, absolutely. But I say he had been in at the time with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, he was on a rebuild and a comeback, but that kid can whack, and he's still very, very dangerous. And Jermaine took some flush shots from him.
The big question about Anthony at that fight, and it's always been about Anthony, was he gun shy? And there was.
Well, he was letting it.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Trip to Cheltenham, Alan Brazil style on talkSPORT.
Good sire! Good sire! Good sire!
In the day we drink our pints of Guinness, me and Al are living the dream. But first we'll host our radio show. You can just imagine the scene. The sun is rising and the going's good. Cleve Hill's looking splendid and we're having more fun than we should. Whoa, baby, this place will put a smile
Absolutely.
on your face.
I don't know what position we do that.
It's a
Don't know what position.
Got a good voice, Ali. I tell you, you got a good voice.
Mate,
there.
Monday
You and Alan both got a good voice.
Monday the 23rd of February, it's 8:35. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Ally and Ray. And indeed, Arnold Clark, our good friends at Arnold Clark, will have 20,000 used cars online to choose from, and they will have the car for you. Listen to me try to
Still
talk.
going in the background there.
Right, fancy joining talks. Well, hold on, I get myself up for this. This is the longest link in the world. Right, you ready? Here we go.
Get a number right.
Fancy joining talks at the famous Cheltenham Festival for Gold Cup Day. We're giving away the ultimate hospitality experience for two on Friday, March the 13th. You'll get the full day of VIP treatment, a 4-course lunch, a complimentary bar all day, celebrity tipsters and more. You'll be experiencing the races in the best way possible, and you'll get to meet some of the guys. Here's how you enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed 27th of February. That's at 4 p.m. and that's when, of course, you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So, as I mentioned earlier, for your chance to win, text 83338 now. Okay, Nottingham Forest held Liverpool out for 97 minutes yesterday, but it wasn't quite enough to take the points as Alexis McAllister found the back of the net in second half stoppage time. You boys, Vita Pereira spoke after the game and tried to make sense of the chaotic closing stages of that defeat.
That's football. It's passion. It's passion. Sometimes we are in the we receive some. Is a moment that you celebrate, and after seconds or after 1 minute you are disappointed again. But this is football. This is football in the best the best image of football. Huh? You can win the game. Before we had the chance to score 1-0, and after we lost the game.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I like to see the reaction when they conceded from Pereira.
Yeah.
He was absolutely
gutted.
You know, it could be a massive point, and they deserved the point. There's no doubt about that. I think Forest were certainly the better team in the first half. I think Liverpool improved in the second half, and they thought they got that little bit of luck with the when it was disallowed the goal. Then they looked like they're going to get a point, and McAllister again pops up. But what do you think about that? The offside? Ekatike was offside, wasn't he?
That's right. Ekatike.
He's standing in offside position. But
I've got to say, Yuri, I thought I was at, what do you call it? I was at Fenerbahce Forest in midweek. Forest were excellent.
Very good.
I'll tell you, really, really impressive. And from what I saw yesterday, and I've only seen the highlights, I can't lie to you, only saw the highlights, I thought they were very unlucky not to take some from that game.
Absolutely. And they stand in good stead now going forward. I think that, I think Gibbs White come out, didn't he, and said, at least we've got an identity now, which was a little bit harsh on Sean Dyche, because we know Sean was trying to do the best he could. I still think they'd have stayed up with Sean Dyche. The truth. I mean, I genuinely do. A lot of people. Obviously, the owner's probably a difficult man to work for if you're a manager, and he made that big decision again. But now, I think they go to Spurs, don't they? in a couple of games' time. I think Spurs have got 2 massive home games coming up, which the supporters have got to get right behind the team. Crystal Palace at home, and then they've got Forest at home coming up after Fulham away next weekend. So they've got some massive games.
Massive, mate. McAllister got a late one, and Arne Slot spoke after the game. He thought that his Liverpool side rode their luck a little bit at the City ground yesterday.
It's of course good and helpful because, especially because we know how it feels to feel the opposite, and that feeling we've had, I don't even exaggerate if I say 15 times this season. To sit there in the dressing room feeling, how has this happened? So being 3-2 up at Fulham in extra time, being 3-2 up against Leeds, I can just go on and on and on. That in moments that we didn't get what we deserved, and today, as I said, first half, Forest were better. Did not create that many chances, but a better team. Second half, we were the better team. So for me, a draw would have been the fairest result. But at last, we were lucky.
There you are. I think that's very fair, what you said there. I mean, sometimes you get a little bit of luck, don't you, along the way?
Well, you need it.
Yeah, exactly. And no one will look back.
I hear what you're saying about remember the goal they lost at Fulham, that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, things go your way sometimes, and it did yesterday for Liverpool. And no one at the end of the season, if they do get into the Champions League, which they should do, in that 4th or 5th position, will look back at that game and say, "Oh, we had a bit of luck there." It is what it is, and
it is amazing. Though, looking at
you take it.
You look Chelsea, Manchester United, and Liverpool, all in 45 points.
Yeah. Will anybody catch Villa? Possibility there is that they can get a run of games going.
I'm not sure.
Will Villa have enough? They've had a lot of injuries, Villa, haven't they? That's really affected them.
I think they'll have enough. I've got it in front of me, and they're sitting 2 wins ahead. They're sitting 6 points ahead of Chelsea, United and Liverpool. I tell you what, I'm going to say something. See if Villa finished third. I think that's an incredible season.
Unbelievable season. Fantastic. With the squad they've got, I think he's done a wonderful job, Emery. Still we've got an excellent chance for a trophy.
Of course.
And third place is a real... Look, at one stage, they look like they could be in a title race, but I think the squad depth, where they've had some key injuries, especially in midfield. Yeah. Tillemans is out, Kamara. We've had quite a few key players out. Yeah. But they've done brilliant, Villa. Absolutely brilliant. And
what about, I'm looking at Chelsea, United and Liverpool. Who would your money be on? It's a tough one. I mean, you think United might get some tonight.
I think Manchester United will be in the top 5. And then you Chelsea, Liverpool. Who would you go?
Do you think? Do you know somebody? I'm going to be honest with you, mate. I think it wouldn't surprise me seeing Liverpool go really deep in the Champions League, I just think they're kind of suited better to teams opening up and having a little bit of a go at them.
See, Chelsea, they'd be kicking themselves. I mean, the weekend, 1-0 up against Burnley. No disrespect to Burnley, credit to Burnley because they kept going and got the equaliser.
Sending off, and I'll discipline again, Ray.
Yeah, 8 sending offs. Unbelievable. It's like back our days, our old team.
It can't be right, man.
No, it's not right, I know.
But I'll ask you a question again, and you and I were talking about it off air. I'm loath to use the word problem because it probably is. It's certainly given him a dilemma. It's just a shame that Salah's form has dropped, isn't it? I mean, the first thing you got to say is, if you can cut a bit of slack.
The young kid come on against Forest, very lively. He was absolutely brilliant when he come on. But do you know what, Salah? I don't think. Well, he come off, Ali, and it was like a smile on his face, thinking, "Well, what are you doing? Why are you taking me off for?" Sort of that sort of look. That Arnie slot, whether there's a little bit of dysfunction.
Well, it looks a little bit like that, and you're right. And
you can see him
come on and look lively.
See him and Gakpo having a chat on the bench when he got taken off as well. I don't know, but the young boy who come on was very, very.
And Gilmour looked lively.
Yeah, really, really lively.
But I mean, as I say, Salah has been one of the best players we've seen in a long, long time in the country.
Absolutely.
And else. But we're not doing our job if you don't talk about his form.
Yeah, it's not great. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure every Liverpool fan out there will say the same and say that, he's not been the same player since he signed that new contract. He's not been...
He's not, has he?
I know his head's been turned a little bit in Saudi Arabia, but, you're not playing... You're playing against Liverpool. You're playing for Liverpool Football Club.
Would it surprise you if he went end of the summer?
Wouldn't surprise me, no. Not at all. Whether Liverpool look at it and say, look, he's not really... We're paying him a lot of money and we can get him off the wage bill and suddenly we can bring someone else or get one of the youngsters, give them an opportunity. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Will be, mate. Okay, Ray, still coming breakfast this morning.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Okay, six-time major trophy winner, Arsenal's appearance record holder and former captain David Alira joins us to reflect on that huge derby victory for Mikel Arteta's side and congratulate someone he gave a debut to in 2002. Brilliant. Of course, it's record breaker James Milner. Now, Spurs fans, we also want to hear from you, more of you this morning. Are Spurs hurtling towards the championship? Surely not, guys. Give us a call. 037 17 223344 03717 223344. George was a man that gave us a call at 7 o'clock and tried his very best to drag down the mood of everyone. Come on, George, even writing off the success of last season's trophy.
Teams we played in the Europa League from the quarterfinals, we should have won. We played Man United. I've spoken to loads of Man United fans. They think it was one of the worst teams they ever had. Yet they had us on the back foot in the second half. I don't think we had an attack in the second half.
Brilliant, George, man.
Where was George?
Certainly put a smile on their face. Next, though, Chris Foy's back in the dock after it can only be described as a shambolic weekend of refereeing north of the border. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins. Higher.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
They've changed the manager, which is what the fans wanted. I was at their last home game against Newcastle United, and it just felt like the players were completely on the floor, just didn't have the answers, didn't look interested or committed to the manager's plan. How will it be different under Igor Tudor, and has he had enough time to work with his players, Crook?
I'm intrigued by this appointment because obviously one of the main factors is he's proven in the past that he can come into a team in a difficult situation, give them an uplift, put wins on the board, which obviously Spurs need to steer themselves away from relegation danger. But as Southampton found with Ivan Juric last season, who had a similar profile, there's a big difference between doing that in European leagues and coming into the Premier League and doing it. I do think you're right. I think the atmosphere around the stadium will be a lot more positive on Sunday than it has been previously. I think the change of manager, the fact it's not Thomas Frank anymore as much as anything, makes this a more difficult fixture for Arsenal. But what happens if they go behind early? What happens if they lose this game? That, like...
Back to the phone lines. Pounds is a delight. Is this his name? Ebbs. By the way, Ebbs. Well, by the way, it's an L and a B and a S written as Pounds. Ebbs, a very good morning. A very good morning to you, mate. My first thing is Ebbs is an apology, but he's put an L, a B, and a S, and it looks like Pounds, mate.
Do you know what? All his mates now know him as Pounds.
That's it.
He's got a new nickname now, Pounds.
I love the fact they're in there playing that game me stick, and they're the ones that wrote it, right? But I think Eves has got a new nickname. It's definitely Pounds. This is talkSPORT breakfast. It's Monday the 23rd of February, and it says 8:49. Flying in this morning. Ally and Ray with you this morning. As you heard there, that was me getting absolutely turned over by it. Absolutely turned over. What was I going to say to you? It's amazing. The Spurs fans have been on this morning, right? I think there's two come on here. I wrote their names down.
I think two really good callers there. I'm not saying George wasn't, but I think they're hitting the nail on the head. Roll your sleeves up a bit. It's a North London derby. Come on, show a little bit of passion. Show something. I know Arsenal were the better team, but you still can try and compete.
That's the way you could be, isn't it? Particularly in a
Wolves at home at Molyneux, 2-0 down. At least they showed a bit of, had a go. Yeah. And you didn't see that from Spurs.
Terrible, mate. Okay, Parks, now time for this.
You're unbelievable. It's a shocking decision. Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff. They're trying to re-referee the game. That's not what it's there for.
Jeff, you will not believe this.
Keep your flag down.
I told you. No way. I told you. VAR. Go away. Dave Bassett will not believe this.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
The crowd cannot believe it. What?
Oh! Miles over the line.
Boo! That's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
That isn't a penalty. I'm absolutely astounded.
You're unbelievable, Jeff.
Saggers is still one of the best. I remember that goal as well against Germany. Frank Lampard, miles over the line. And it wasn't given.
We weren't sure whether that was over the line north of Carlisle. I've got to see what look.
Oh, no,
was it definitely over?
Sags. Oh, God, brilliant.
Sags was brilliant.
He lost it.
See when he started booing. That was hilarious. Now, you've been listening this morning, you know, we're giving our thoughts on some contentious refereeing decisions coming out of Scotland over the past weekend.
Awful.
And we'll have to say we aren't too happy with them. 3 incidents across Saturday and Sunday's football which have directly impacted the title race and have caught our attention, with Rangers and Celtic both being at the forefront of the news. We're delighted to say, joining us now, someone who knows the rules of the game inside out, and we might have to explain one or two to you and I this morning. I'll tell you that, Ray, having officiated 260 matches in the Premier League, and he's going to try and help us make sense of some of those decisions. It's a very good morning once again to Chris Foy. Chris, how are you?
How you doing, Chris?
Good morning, boys. You well?
We're in top form, Chris. I mean...
Good.
I hope you get yourself strapped in, right? Because normally I'm on to you and I'm talking to you about the English Premiership, which I clearly care a lot about. However, closer to home yesterday, Chris, there was some unbelievable decisions. Now, we'll start with the sending off at Celtic Park, right, where Trusty is being held and he pushes the player away, the player goes down, and there's a review and there's a red card. Now, I have to say, Ray, I beg your pardon, Chris, I don't think anybody, I know everybody that I've spoke to does not think that's a red card.
It's an interesting one because when I watched the fallout from that particular match, Chris Boyd disagreed with the Ally, actually. He felt it was. And
that backs me up even more, Chris.
I mean, it really is an interesting decision, isn't it, where we talk about grappling and holding and pulling and pushing. And what he's actually done is, Austin Trust, he's sort of whacked down on his arm, hasn't he? And the situation with this is the referee on field has given a red card for that. Now, for the VAR to intervene and recommend a review, it has to be a clear and obvious error. Now, when I looked at that, Ali, and we'll probably disagree on this one, I think he went down with some real force when he whacked him. And why he did it, only the player knows. So, given on field, VAR won't intervene with that one. I think that's a sound decision, albeit you disagree with me.
Well, I'll ask you a question regarding it, right?
Yeah.
If the Hibs player stays on his feet, is it a red card? Does he? Or I'll put it this way. I'll ask you the question: does he give a red card?
Yeah, he probably does because of the action. It's not the consequences. It's actually the action and the way he strikes down with force onto his arm.
Chris, I don't think there's any way. I do not think there's any way on this planet that he gives a red card if a Hibs player stands on his feet.
Well, that's your opinion, but the referee only sees what he sees and deals with it, and he sees the action of the player striking down on his arm with force and shows him a red card. And as I said, with the VAR looking at that, is there clear evidence to overturn it? No, there isn't. So the player needs to reflect on why he did what he did. But as you say, it'll divide opinion. You think not, but one or two others I've spoken to and looked at feel as though it was. So I don't have too many complaints with that decision, in fairness.
Okay, I'm moving closer to home, Chris. Penalty decision, or I'll just describe it as carnage at Livingston in the last minute, mate. I mean, please tell. What is going on, Chris? What is going on?
Well, there's two things to this, isn't there? And it all depends where you look at it and how you look at it. If you look at that behind the goal, you can clearly see that it's a foul on Mikey Moore by Cammy Kerr. Now, the question is it inside, excuse me, or is it outside the penalty area? And that was the debate for the VAR, trying to find the evidence as to whether it was or whether it wasn't. So if it's inside, they would have recommended it, that they would have told the referee that it was a penalty kick because it's factual, it's either in or out. If they didn't feel as though it was a penalty, then it has to be a red card for the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. So there's two things to this. It's either a penalty, or if it's not a penalty and it's outside, it should have been a red card for Kemi Kerr for the foul on Mikey Moore.
Chris, can you explain, because I've heard contrasting opinions on the actual law of the game in terms of a foul committed outside the box that carries on into the box. Somebody said to me it's a penalty if you're pulling, but not if it's a tackle. Could you clarify that for me, please, if you can?
Yeah, it's a good point, Ali. The law's quite specific, and it actually does refer that when holding becomes pulling and continues into the penalty area, it only relates to that offence. Everything else is a tackle or a trip. So it only relates to holding, not a tackle.
See, there you are. I'm going to take. I think that's ridiculous, because on the same instance,
sliding,
Mikey Moore we'll just say it's outside the box, right? The initial contact's outside the box, but the follow through, which actually brings him down, is inside the box. So we've got a rule for pulling and pushing, but we don't have a rule for kicking.
Well, that is the way the law is written, isn't it? It's just a holding offence that continues into the penalty area. It doesn't relate to tackles or challenges. So in that regard, the decision's made on the first point of contact on a tackle. And it looks to me on that one, Ali, that it was outside.
Oh, Ali. Right. You've ruined his morning there, too.
No, I don't necessarily have to agree with Chris. I've saved the best for last, mate.
He's going to go have a coffee with George now, Ali.
Chris, I'm saving the best for last, mate. And I'm hoping you've seen it.
Oh, this is
the red card at St Mirren for Richard King for an off-the-ball challenge, it says here, in Callum Slattery. Please tell me you're not giving a red card there.
No, I'm not giving a red card for that. I was flabbergasted when I saw this, because quite clearly it's not been seen on field. But the rolling around and the history on it.
It's embarrassing, yeah.
It is embarrassing.
The feigning of injury. And even if there was a slight contact on his face, and I can't see that. Even then, when we talk about violent conduct in football, which is striking, if contact is negligible, and I don't even know if there was any contact at all, they've quite clearly got information from other match officials, and they've stayed with the on-field decision. But referees aren't helped sometimes with the conduct of the players, and to roll round the way he did was poor, in my opinion.
Brilliant, mate. Listen, at least we agreed on one, Chris. Thanks, mate. You have a good week.
And you. All the best, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks. Take care. Chris Foy, the Premier League referee. And a regular Monday, it says punch bag here, but he takes it well. And I must have got that right. If Boydie even disagrees with me, that's me got him 100% right. Only joking, boy. 03717 223344. Keep the calls coming, guys. Yesterday's North London derby route. Spurs fans, is your new stadium such a playground for every team except your own? Give us a call. 03717 223344.
But when you hear these comments that he's come out with now, to say he cannot get the best out of the players that have come in, if that those words just come out of his mouth, then as an owner, you've got no choice now. You have to say, like, okay, he's coming out now publicly and saying he can't get the best out of top players as well, by the way. Brendan Johnson is a very good player. Okay, you can't get the best out
Is
of
he
him.
daring the board to sack him?
It sounds
100%.
It sounds like it. And by the way, I know that they missed out on Dwight McDeal. That deal didn't quite get over the line on deadline day. But there was a lot of optimism in the Palace hierarchy because of the addition of Brendan Johnson, because Jurgen Strand-Larsen has come in and obviously scored a couple of excellent goals. Guessond as well. And they kept Mateta. He's not fit at the moment, but should be back sometime soon. They feel there are more than enough weapons in that Palace team to be winning games of football, and one winning 15 is not good enough.
It feels like he's playing chicken a little bit with the hierarchy, isn't he? Because he's saying, I'm not good enough at the moment. I can't do this job. It's very hard for me, blah, blah, blah. And Palace are in a situation where they're obviously like, well, you've already said you're going to leave at the end of the season. You've got a contract to fulfill. You need to fulfill that. Yeah. We're not just going to pay you up for the sake of paying you up so you can have a 3-month holiday and prepare yourself for a new job. Quite rightly so, by the way. But at the same time, Palace are in a predicament where they've won one game in 15. They might go out of Europe if they don't buck their ideas up next Thursday. And they don't want to lose to Wolves on Sunday either, because if that happens, they could find themselves in a relegation battle. So they're in a sort of catch-22 situation. He knows that, and he's daring them, Gabby.
Yeah, but in that press conference, he's gonna lose the fans, those that were still standing by him. He's going to lose the owners.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But LeBoeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Short breakfast. It is Monday the 23rd of February, just gone 9:05. Arnold Clark, the good friends at Arnold Clark, are supporting us as always. Browse UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. Ally and Ray with you this morning. There's plenty to come between now and 10 a.m. We'll hear Matchroom President and founder Barry Hearn on the fallout between his son Eddie and Conor Benn after Conor Benn decided to end a decade-long Matchroom partnership with Dana White's Zuffa Boxing. Now though, Arsenal fans have been getting in touch to gloat. Spurs fans have been sharing their misery. Here's some of the favourites so far we've had this morning.
Listen, I'm floating. I'm so excited. I'm getting excited. I've said, give this geezer time. He scored 1 million goals in Portugal.
We've been called bottle jobs, and it was just plain to see that they're hungry for the title.
Yep.
We won the title, and we didn't stop until the 95th, 94th minute.
It's a North London derby, right? We're in a relegation fight, and what do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The players will relegate their club, and there's a few of those senior players are not rolling their sleeves up. They've had enough of the club's ambitions.
I think 3 people are responsible for this decline. Daniel Levy, Ange. The last one is Thomas Frank.
Quick question for you, mate. Are you going to stay up?
Yes.
George is cracked it this morning.
He's made everybody's day,
Yeah,
George.
absolutely.
Now, Arsenal, as we saw, sent a clear title one in North London rivals 4-1, thrashing Spurs 4-1 to regain their 5-point lead at the top. Eze proved Spurs' nightmare once again, netting 7 goals across his last 3 games. I think he scored 2 against them for Palace in May. And here's a start for you. Yesterday was Tottenham's 52nd defeat. Wow, at their new stadium since it opened in April 2019.
It's been a nightmare for a minute. I know the stadium's magnificent though.
I know, but here's a question for you then. Is it that magnificent?
Seems like going there.
Aye.
Maybe. Do
you know what I mean? You know you always get a boost you go to certain stadiums?
Yeah.
Does it become...
Well, we had a little bit of that when we played at Wembley in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it.
It gave them a massive boost to play at Wembley. And he didn't really give us a chance because we was used to Highbury, which was a lot tighter. There's a little,
of course,
it's tougher for teams to go there.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to head to the phone lines once again. We've got Darren on the call. He has dialed 03717 223344, and Darren's an Arsenal fan. Darren, good morning, mate. How are you?
Morning, Darren.
Good morning. Not bad, yourself?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for taking the time to call us. What did you think yesterday? What's your views?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a bit of karma for Tottenham, isn't it? Going off for the back of what they did last season, the fans-wise, the mentality, we'd rather lose a game so Arsenal don't win the league. So looks like they'll be in a relegation battle now, and it's come back to haunt them.
You must be pleased with a lot of the performances yesterday. Gyökeres, it's still a little bit of a doubt in people's minds because obviously they've spent a lot of money and he's had in different games at times, but he was brilliant yesterday. Best performance with an Arsenal shirt on, definitely.
At the end of the day, he holds up the play well. You know what I mean? He brings other players into action and all that. And Arsenal lately, well, they're a team scoring team. You know what I mean? End of the day, it's not an individual. They can score goals from anywhere, but yeah, it's going to have there's plenty of points to play for. We're up against Man City at the end of the day. And you know what the score is to them. It's going to be down to the last 2 games, 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so it's a marathon in this league now. It's not a sprint.
Brilliant, Dan. Thanks for your call, pal. We're going to move on. Thank you very much for taking the time to call us. We've got Paul. Paul's a Spurs fan. Maybe not just as happy this morning, Paul.
No, mate, I thought it's a disgrace, really, from our team. I wanted to phone up and talk about, no one seems to be talking about it, the foul by Kolo Muani on Gabriel yesterday.
Yes.
Shocking decision. 5-6 weeks ago, Ekitike was involved on a foul on Romero, and we had to sit there saying Romero should have been stronger, should have stood up, should have been stronger defending in his own box. This week, no one seems to be talking about it. Everyone seems to say, yeah, Kolo Muani shouldn't put his hands on the back of Gabriel. Gabriel falls over like a silly summer.
Yeah, I must admit, but he was always going to give that. They were always going to give that as a foul. I don't care what you say. Most refs we should have asked Chris, but it would have been a foul, wouldn't it?
It's Paul. I hear what you're saying.
I know it's gone down very easy.
I've got it done as a free kick.
The foul on Romero 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're all saying that was the right decision 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I agree. The double standards are the problem we've got. There's double standards, but I'm giving a free kick there. I mean, and by the way, 2 of my boys weren't given a free kick. I just think when he's in the air. You know, and I also think when players are running at pace, people don't realise you just need to nudge them a little bit, and it is a free kick, but it might look just a little nudge. I hear what you're saying, mate, but I know, but I'm giving a free kick, yeah. I really am.
Yeah, just again, we're talking about inconsistencies and refereeing rather than the football on the pitch. Again,
are you going to be all right, Paul? Are you going to stay up?
No, we're going down. We're going down.
Me.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I think you've got 2.
The players aren't playing for the club, for the badge. They're not playing for the badge. We're going down.
I think you've got 2 massive games, haven't you? You've got Palace at home and Forest at home in March. Yep. And they're the games you're going to have to win.
Just not confident. I'm just not confident. There's something wrong at the core of our football club, and it's going to send us down. It's going to come back to bite us. And when Levy left, he said, be careful what you wish for. And I'm seeing it now.
All right, Paul. Appreciate you taking the time to call us this morning. Thank you very much. Hope your Monday picks up. Joining us now is the club's record appearance holder and 6-time major trophy winner. He also holds a record for the most North London derby appearances of all time. Brilliant. Arsenal legend David O'Leary is joining us this morning. It's time to say a very good morning to David himself. David, good morning.
Morning, David.
Morning, you two. And Ali, I'll send you that 20 quid for that. Info in. Thank you, mate.
I knew you had the record appearances, mate, but I did not know you had the record appearances in the North London derby.
Ali, I found that out yesterday. The great Gary Mabbitt came up to me and told me that. Why, I don't know, but I said, Gary, coming from you, I'll believe you. So,
brilliant, mate.
That was news to me yesterday. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, listen, mate, before we talk things Arsenal-Tottenham, I think the best place to start is a congratulations to a man. Another thing I didn't know about you, you gave his debut, James Milner.
Well, Ali, everything's been said about the great fella. An unbelievable young pro then, and he's continued that all the way. What can you say about him? Just deserves every praise he gets. He don't like praise. He likes to stay under the radar, but you couldn't meet a better pro and have a better pro playing for you.
Dave, I was just about to say that. I mean, his interview sums him up, really, doesn't it? After the game, he just said, "Look, it's not all about me. The record's great, but don't get me wrong, it's all about the team." Which, that's what you want in your dressing room, Dave.
Yeah. Ali, Ray, definitely. And I took him on loan when I was the Aston Villa manager because Newcastle didn't particularly fancy him. We got to the end of that year. Newcastle wanted him out cheaply, and Doug Ellis, a man who's dead now, trying to knock him or that, but it was a deal to be done there, and they let him go back. And eventually, I think Martin O'Neill signed him when he got Villa manager. But he was a player that, as I say, even when he came on loan for me at Aston Villa, did great for me. A great professional and a really tremendous player, and a great achievement making all those appearances.
Here, mate. What about yesterday? We're looking at the game yesterday, David, and obviously, I think, you know, it's obviously a clear, massive match for Arsenal coming off a big disappointment. Couple of goals ahead at Wolves, dropping the points. But I mean, it was just what the doctor ordered: the performance, the result, everything about it.
Ali, a great bounce back after an absolutely, diabolical, 2 goals up and dropped a couple of points against Wolves, because you're expecting to go and win that game, particularly when you're 2 goals up. But went into that in a very, very positive way. Have to say, they beat a very poor Tottenham team, and I mean, I'm not trying to run Tottenham down or this great Arsenal rivalry and that, but that's as poor as the Tottenham team I've seen. But they won. I think the only disappointing thing, or nobody could believe, was that it was a draw at half time. A gift from Declan Rice, really. Yep. But Arsenal started the game, dominated it, gifted Arsenal a goal. The one great thing about Declan, who's been playing tremendously well, is it didn't linger with him. He got on with it. I think they came out second half and just took that positive way of wanting to dominate the game, and not what I've seen in a few games, Ray. Maybe has gone a couple of goals up, got cautious. They didn't stay cautious. They went to get another goal and another goal. And I think, listen to you earlier there, one of Gyökeres is probably his best performance, really. And I think a little contribution to help him was, I think we were more direct and played more his strengths yesterday.
Yeah, he just played on shoulders, didn't he? Especially his last goal. Yeah. Last goal was really good. Way he took that goal because he's just strong, got it on his right foot, and he seems to be better coming in off that left-hand side. Thierry Henry was very, well, I'm not going to say compare Thierry with Gyökeres, but he was very similar. He always played off that left. And then he knew he could pass the ball into the net sometimes, which, don't panic in front of goal.
Right. Definitely, and I've seen him play a couple of times for Coventry, and that's exactly, he caught my eye then of that was the way Coventry played with him, and I think we've used him in a different way, and I think that if you want him to perform or you want him to do what he did yesterday, that is the way he's got to play, really. And I think another one we've got to give a mention to, Eze, he stepped up. I think he needed a good performance, and I think that'll do him the world of good as well, that game yesterday.
Yeah, and I've got to mention Leeds, Dave, because they're having a good season for me.
Brilliant.
Really, the fans have been brilliant everywhere they've gone. They've really got behind the team, and they're certainly performing. And another good draw at the weekend. I know they'd be disappointed because there's 1-0 up coming to latter stages, but it's still another good point away from home.
I think going to it, Ray, you'd have taken that result. Disappointed afterwards because you think you're just over the line and equalise so late against a very good Aston Villa side. But they've got onto a formation that suits them, and they've become a team that's hard to beat. I think City go there next, so I hope they do Arsenal a favour there, because it'll be a tough place to go. Arsenal went there a few weeks ago and were very impressive against them, but Leeds have picked up a lot of good points, and the supporters you'll never doubt, because they're always fantastic backing with them.
David, just before I let you go, mate, World Cup playoffs coming off. Are you going to be joining us in America?
Ali, I hope so. It's always a pleasure, mate, in that way. Might get a game of golf for you as well.
Sounds good, pal. Sounds great. Thanks very much for joining us. Dave. Keep smiling, mate. Thank you.
Take care of you both. Stay well.
Thanks, mate. Up next, legendary businessman and sports promoter Barry Hearn, brilliant, is with us to explain exactly why Conor Benn has swapped Matchroom for Zuffa Sport and how much he will be missed.
Mourinho, one of the best managers of our generation. But I'll tell you what, he's lost a lot of fans. He's lost a lot of neutral fans. And I just felt his comments were disgusting. For one, Vinicius Jr., if he wants to run to the corner flag and do a dance that a lot of Brazilian players do, Cunha danced when he scored against Arsenal, didn't receive racial abuse from anybody, any player. So Vinicius Jr. is allowed to dance. And also, Eusebio is one of our best ever players. This club cannot be racist. What does that mean? Because your best ever player was black. That means no one else can be racist to do with your football club. And also, no one says Benfica was a racist football club, did they? It was alleged that a player had been racist. So why is Mourinho protecting the football club when no one's said that Benfica are a racist football club? Very odd.
Well, Benfica are not a homogenous group, are they? They're made up of individuals, and Prestiani is his own.
Okay, 11 this morning, 9:21, Monday the 23rd of February. It's talkSPORT Breakfast. Ally and Ray with you this morning. Huge drama in the boxing world as Conor Benn joined Dana White's Zufa Boxing, bringing an end to his decade-long partnership with Matchroom Boxing. Absolutely delighted to say founder and president of Matchroom Sport, Barry Hearn, is with us now. Barry, a very good morning. How are you this morning?
How you doing, Barry?
I'm good, as always. Thank you, my friend.
Well, the first thing I've got to say, Barry, I'm going to publicly apologise to you, because the last time I phoned you, I think it was about 3:30 in the morning where you were. I was completely unaware you were on holiday. But
it's never too early to take a call from you, Alan. You know.
Listen, mate, everything's good. Unbelievable news at the weekend. Let's not mess about here. It was, I would use the term shocking to tell you the truth, Barry. It's shocked and surprised many people, myself included. What was your initial reaction?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's very difficult because, boxers do come and go, but this wasn't the average relationship with a contracted boxer. This was special. Conor was as close as he could have been to being part of the family, and for him to make a decision like this without even a phone call, or actually when Eddie suggested to him by text that they meet to discuss it, Conor suggested it's best to go through lawyers. And after 10 years of what we've gone through with him, I think in my 50-odd years of promoting sport, this is the most horrible, outrageous. I can't describe the feeling of when you've been let down. I suppose it's a bit like, you've been married for 10 years and your wife walks out and you think, why? No one discussed it. No one. I didn't think he was that type of boy. I mean, look, maybe we got it wrong with Conor. Maybe we took his side and we believed everything he said, and maybe we were wrong. I hope not. But, it is personally disappointing because it goes beyond money. I mean, look, he's obviously received a huge offer from Dana White and his team, because he's got to make some waves in boxing. He's got Turkey Al Sheikh's money behind him. He needs to sign fighters and he needs to pay them really well, which he is doing. But it doesn't mean to say you disband the team. The team that built Conor Benn is in place. And each one of those team would have taken a bullet for him at ringside. And you don't often get that in life and then react like this. It's deeply upsetting.
But Barry, I've got to ask you: would he have contacted his dad? He must have spoke to his dad.
We've
Nigel.
heard nothing from Nigel at all.
Yeah,
sadly.
I mean, Nigel. You know, he's a good man, and he would have looked at it, and he would have probably said, "Well, wait a minute. There's no problem. Look, people do move on and whatever. But it's the way to do it. How you do it."
Well, it's funny.
I mean,
and
it's,
I think
it's a classless way of doing it when you've got an open relationship, and you have to bear in mind a lot of it was on talkSPORT, by the way. We took a lot of bullets over this. We took a lot of stick. Our company reputation, our personal reputation, where we went to a guy that had failed a drugs test twice and said, "No, we believe in him." So we stood our corner, as I would always expect Matchroom to do. We got very high standards.
Yeah.
But those standards have not been reciprocated, and that's deeply upsetting. Because it is on a personal basis. You can't take it out of it. We love the kid. We've been with him from day one. Tony Sims is the trainer. The team attitude is great. And we were gonna, obviously with the last Eubank fight, we couldn't have been in a better position. It's sad to think that Conor went off to America just to solicit offers and got a huge one. And by the way, good luck to him to get the money. But you don't disband the team. Even if you do, you don't do it by text
Barry,
or via lawyers.
100%, mate. Listen, and Eddie's obviously hurting, and I get it. His quote was, "It's like a dagger through the heart when you've stood by somebody like that." There's a way to conduct yourself, right? Not just in sport, but in life in general, right? In life in general.
Well, that's the saddest thing. And maybe, did we get it completely wrong with him? Did we believe him when we shouldn't have done? We don't know any other way in our world, Ali. We love our fighters. There's no two ways about it. Look, I know it's a business. We make money, they make money. We've got a fantastic reputation globally. We've never really had a dispute with boxers so much like this. And this was in the heart. This was in the heart. And I expected so much more from Conor Benn.
But I'm going to say to you, mate, Zuffa Boxing, which is backed by, you mentioned Dana White and Saudi Arabian money, staged its first event in January. He said the ultimate aim is to sideline the four traditional sanctioning bodies, WBO, WBC, IBF, and WBA, and make Zuffa's belt the premier world title alongside the Ring Magazine title. Is that realistic?
Not in the slightest.
But
Not in the slightest.
What I will say, one thing to you before you answer the question, they seriously look in a powerful position due to finance, but you're saying it won't happen.
Do you know what? It's a funny thing. I suppose, you get a lot of kids would say, I want to play for Manchester United and I don't care about the money because the history, etc. And if you multiply that by 50 in boxing, the kids that start boxing do so because of their heroes of the past and the history of the sport. They want to follow in the footsteps of Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson. And the belt organisations are not perfect, of course, but those belts do have a huge amount of value in terms of prestige and legacy. Zuffa Boxing, or whatever it's called, with their Zuffa belt, it will take a lifetime to give that belt credibility anywhere near the levels of what exists. And I understand what they're trying to do. Dana White controls UFC. He's got a lot of fighters on UFC under contract, and I don't think they overpay them, by the way, because they have total control. And what they'd like to do with boxing in the long term is get total control. And I don't believe that's going to be in the interest of boxers anyway. But I'm very safe in the knowledge that people like Matchroom go on. There are great promoters around the world. We love our boxing, and we're not going anywhere. We don't have the Saudi money, but we're not skint, so we can carry on looking after our fighters and doing the job that we can be proud of, and hopefully along the way create a legacy.
Barry, on a positive note, I watched it in Glasgow, the darts, Johnny Clayton. Absolutely brilliant. It's what?
What's going on up the road?
I know, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
He comes on winding up. One of the boys come on winding up the Celtic supporters. It's brilliant.
Let's talk about darts because it's so much better conversation than just loyalty. I always remember my old friend Mickey Duff said once. He said, "In boxing, if you want loyalty, buy a dog." And I thought that was quite harsh at the time. But I'm beginning to think that Mickey Duff knew more than I did. But when you get to the darts, there you've got 128 guys pulling in the same direction, creating an empire, creating a sport from nothing, and it's giving so much pleasure to so many hundreds of thousands of people. The Premier League is off the scale. We went on sale in New York last week. We sold 6,000 tickets the first day in New York, Madison Square Garden.
Amazing.
And I always like to give talkSPORT an exclusive. Listen, watch this space, because next year we're going to come out, not this year, next year we're going to come out of the theatre at Madison Square Gardens and we're going to go into the full arena. Now, you imagine that. If you imagine that in your dreams 10 years ago,
no,
would you ever see sold out Madison Square Gardens, arguably the most famous stage in the world for darts in America? And the answer is, it's coming. This sport has got personalities. It's got guys pulling. I get dart players saying to me, what can I do? I get darts players saying to me, I've got ideas. And these are ordinary guys that look like someone who lives around the corner to you. But they've got extraordinary ability, and their life is changing in front of us.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And Luke Littler, you have to say, he won in Poland last night. He's a great ambassador.
Yeah.
Let's hope they all stay sensible and don't get chilled off, because what we're seeing in boxing can happen in any sport. It could happen in football. There's unlimited money coming from these guys, and that can be very good if it's for a solid purpose. But darts, mate, puts a smile on my face every time I turn on the TV.
But I'm going to say, my final question was, how's life in general? How's life treating you? And by the sounds of things...
Do you know what? Listen, I went fishing last week. I caught 7 mahi-mahi. I caught 6 wahoo. And I caught 1 barracuda. I go and play a little bit of golf in the sunshine. I'm 78 in June. I am loving every bloody second. Nothing upsets me. People disappoint me, but nothing upsets me, because I will not let anything get in my way.
You need to go up the road and do some real fishing, some salmon fishing with me, pal.
Listen,
you're welcome.
I went to Iceland a few weeks ago, caught a 16-pound salmon on the fly, one of the great experiences of my life.
But I'm kidding you not, Barry. I was there last August and I'm going back this year. Iceland for the salmon fishing. Brilliant.
Perfect. Love it.
Imagine
it's even better than going on talkSPORT this time in the morning.
You better believe it is. And you're always welcome here. Great to see you in good form, pal. Take care.
Good boys.
Cheers, Barry.
Cheers, mate.
All the best, mate. Smashing. Always get me say.
Yeah, no, Barry's brilliant. He's involved in Brentwood as well. But a local team to me down the road. And he loves his it's grassroots football really coming through. But
you can see
that darts though, Ali. I watched it last week.
The darts
Glasgow, and Johnny Clayton won in the end.
Glasgow. It's brilliant.
Well,
Glasgow is magic, man. It's perfect for the darts. Okay, mate, we're going to have to go to the news. 9:31.
There were reports that the night that Sean Dyche was sacked after that Wolves game, 4 or 5 senior players were called into Marinakis' boardroom and they essentially said, we're not loving this. And I don't like that. That feels unfair to someone like Sean Dyche. However, last night I think was great evidence because the players played with the reins off. They played with freedom. And I think it shows that how maybe unhappy some of those players were under Sean Dyche. The fact that they went to Istanbul, to a team unbeaten domestically under Dominic Tedesco, and absolutely played them off the park.
Yeah, on paper, Max, you look at your team. I mean,
I know, yeah.
Hudson-Odoi on the wide, on his
White.
day he can do it. Hutchinson, you've got Gibbs-White, as you mentioned there. You've got Elliot Anderson in midfield as well. So you've got some top players.
I think he's the key, Elliot Anderson, because he's the dynamo, he's the driving force. And if he can win and keep them playing and get the balls to the danger men, then Forest have every chance.
Without a doubt. Look, and we all know that Elliot Anderson's destined for the top 4 team.
Who would have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? That seems to be the case with the Super Bowl halftime show. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centrepiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first Super Bowl was held in 1967. Initially, the halftime show was a display purely for the fans in the stadium, with marching bands, dancers and American patriotism for all to see. And that's what it was for the first few years. Disney had a go with a few questionable displays in the 1980s, but it wasn't until 93 that we got the first glimpse into the future of halftime shows. Michael Jackson's stellar performance gave NFL execs something to think about. A raft of massive names followed, including Diana Ross, U2, Janet Jackson, who gave us the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction of all time. So how many people are involved? To give you an idea of the scale, Rihanna's 2023 performance included 800 people, and experts reckon it cost $13 million. What's even more impressive than some of the names on the bill every year is the fact they do it for free. The artists know the exposure they'll get from doing the show will rocket them up the charts across the world. The Super Bowl halftime show will be a fixture in pop culture for years to come. So the question is, who next?
Right, here we go. talkSPORT Breakfast, Ally, Ray and Arnold Clark with over 20,000 used cars online to choose from. The other car for you. We are not long, I beg your pardon, we're talking not long about VAR and its poor operation Scotland, especially over the weekend just gone. Greg Denham's a Rangers fan, and I know Greg very well. Greg, what did you think, mate? First of all, very good morning. Thanks for taking
morning, Greg.
College. What did
Good
you
morning, guys. How are we this morning?
Very well, Greg. Very well.
Excellent.
First of all, how are you before we get into things? You in good form?
Very well, Coisty. I also used to play against you back
Remember
in the day.
Of course, pal.
Probably about 5 stone ago, to be fair.
Both of us, that combined. Mind you, mate.
On a regular basis, you're doing great.
Great, mate. It's great to speak to you. Thanks for taking the time. What about some of those decisions at the weekend, mate? I mean, we've been talking about all morning. Absolutely scandalous. Where are you in them?
Coisty, I was driving at the time when I heard your chat with regarding. I've got 2 points. One regarding Austin Trustee's sending off, and you were obviously saying you felt it wasn't a sending off.
Yep.
At which point I just crashed my car off the road, Coisty. I must admit, I think you've maybe been hanging about with Mr. Brazil too much. I think.
Do you think it's a sending off? Yeah, obviously.
You were on your second bottle of Malbec when you've viewed that.
Might have been both.
I think it's a clear sending off. He's been marked by Jamie McGrath, who, as you know,
he's been held by Jamie McGrath, Greg. He's not been marked. He's been held by Jamie McGrath.
He's feeling him. He's feeling him to see where he is, Coisty. You know, he's not grappling his shirt. Austin Trustee has quite clearly punched down on him.
Oh, come
so
on,
for me, it's an automatic, clear as day sending off, Coisty.
By the way, I'm going to say something. You softened up in your old age. You weren't as soft as this when I played against you. I can tell you that.
maybe so, Coisty. Maybe so. And people maybe say I'm looking at through blue tinted glasses, but I think even my Celtic supporting friends have also commented that they felt, with being at the game, it was a sending off and reviewing VAR. So we can agree to disagree on that one.
Right, next one. I'm moving on to the
second point. I've got to comment on the incident at Almondvale yesterday with Mikey Moore.
Yes.
Quite clearly taken out. And we can obviously debate whether it was a penalty or was a free kick, was it on the line, was it
red card,
was it out the box, whatever, red card, you name it. However, Is there going to be some kind of transparency from the SFA with coming out and making a statement as to why the correct decision wasn't given? And
This call is being recorded.
And would we see any transactions from the VAR chat?
I think you're right, mate. I thought it was
Who is in VAR?
I thought that was an appalling decision. And while I've got you on, tell me. And you might not tell me. You might not have seen it. Have you seen the King sending off for St Mirren against Motherwell, mate?
You know, I have. I was in my bed, because I was up early this morning, so I missed the highlights last night. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it, but I heard it was a shocker.
It's the worst ever. It's the worst you'll see all weekend, mate. It is quite literally the worst you'll see all weekend. Well, listen. You get 2 out of 3 right. I can't complain with that, mate. I'm still not having it said enough, but it's brilliant to tell you, mate.
On the Motherwell one, will that red card be rescinded?
Has to be. It has to be, mate.
Will he be punished?
Yeah. Well, I think the boy Slattery will wake up this morning and be horrified.
Yeah.
You know, at his antics, to be honest with you. Listen, mate, brilliant for you taking the time to call us. Glad life's treating you well. Thanks, Greg. All the best, mate. That was magic. Now we're going to take a look back at the weekend's Six Nations action with Funding Circle.
Guinness Six Nations review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. Supporting the supporters with fast, fair and hassle-free business finance solutions. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
Brilliant, that. I mean, it's funny.
Yeah. When did you play against?
Oh, years ago. And by the way, he didn't
centre-half.
Oh, he didn't mess about either. And he's one trusty centre-half. Greg, I'm going to phone you right after I show it. It'd be interesting to hear the different opinions on it.
No, it's unbelievable, really. I mean, I look at it and it happens all the time in corners. Coming over, you're pushing each other.
I suppose with a letter of the law, right? But I
suppose he did hit down on him, but...
Come on, no way. Right, England's Six Nations hopes are in tatters after a humiliating 42-21 defeat to Ireland at Twickenham. Their 5th heaviest home defeat there. I didn't know that. Elsewhere, France were different class as usual. They smashed Italy 33-8, and Scotland had a fantastic result against a Wales side that looked rejuvenated, to say the least, 26-23. Joining us now for more on the Red Roses crumbling campaign is 3-time Six Times Nation winner Mike Brown. Mike, thanks for taking the time to join us, mate. How are you, first of all?
Mike?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Big fan of the show. So brilliant.
Thanks, mate. Great to see you, mate. Mate, where are we with England at this moment in time? I mean, they get into 12 games undefeated, good performance against Wales. I thought didn't really turn up against Scotland, but I actually fancied them to beat Ireland. And to be fair to the Irish, boy, were they in form.
Yeah, look, it's the second week us English have got to eat some humble pie, isn't it? Because I think everyone put England favourites. Ireland were scrambling a little bit on the back foot, but we've gone from Grand Slam favourites to desperate to get a win. So yeah, we need a big performance in a couple of weeks. With the Irish, they just came out far, and fair play to them. But it just shows how amazing this tournament is. Like, it's just throwing up results all over the place. Yeah, but just for England, they're just massively on the back foot now, and they're just desperate to get a win.
Is it the players, Mike? Is it certain positions that they're really struggling, or is it the captain, Itoje? Is he strong enough character in there? I think Eddie Jones said he weren't too sure about Itoje being captain. What can you? How do you put your finger on it?
Yeah, look, let's just think back though. We've won 12 straight, something like that. So. You know, it's not just throwing everything out with a few losses. You know, there is some good stuff there. You know, including the leaders, the coaching staff, things like that. You know, we are doing good things, but it's almost like we've just been shell shocked from that Scottish game, where they've come out flying and we've had no response. And then since then, we're just on the back foot. And again, Ireland did the same to us. So. We just look flat. We just look something's weighing heavy on us at the moment, and I'm not sure if it's physically or mentally, whether we were overcooked going into the Six Nations in terms of training, or mentally we're just not backing ourselves, or we're just shell shocked. I'm not quite sure. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something there that's weighing heavy, which they've got a week now, 2 weeks before the next game to kind of narrow down what that is and put it right, because like I said, we're desperate now. We desperately need a win, because it's turned into an absolute disaster.
What about the tournament itself? And the tournament you mentioned earlier, it's been brilliant. I mean, France in particular, mate, Bielbiari and Dupont back. I saw Dupont's first game back, actually. I was at Glasgow. I like to go and watch the Warriors. And Dupont come back in. Glasgow beat them, actually, incident in Glasgow. Having a great season. But the French so far, mate, I thought the opening 40 minutes against Ireland on that Friday night, I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, they just look untouchable at the moment when they get what they want in terms of transition and broken field. You know, the offload game comes into play, their power game. They've got X factor throughout that back line. It's just phenomenal to watch. Like, I retired, you know, in June, and there's not many games I watch where I miss it. But then I watch them and I think, wow, that must be so fun to be part of. The way they play, it's just great to watch. But has anyone put them under real pressure at the moment? It'd be interesting to see when they're in a really close game with someone really puts them under pressure, puts them in uncomfortable situations that they don't like. If someone can, that's the question. How then they'll respond. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go. The pressure's going to start coming on a bit more now because they're the only ones that you know, are by far the outlying team in this tournament. And they're still on for the Grand Slam. So it'll be interesting to see as the pressure builds.
Mike, obviously Ali hopes this happens, but Scotland, they've really improved, haven't they?
Could we give them a game? Could we give them a game at Murrayfield, Mike? Something tells me, I don't know, I'm an eternal optimist. I thought Wales played really well against his first half, but we found a way to win a game that, you know, normally we don't always win that game. A good performance against England. I think we maybe could give them a game at home, you know.
Yeah, for the Scots, it was interesting to see how they would come, you know, back that up, the England game, which is, you know, like their cup final, really, back that up against a Welsh team, which everyone expects them to beat and beat comfortably. Like you said, they got the win. That's the main thing. But what I'm saying about the French is putting them in uncomfortable situations, making them feel uncomfortable. That can happen at Murrayfield. That the Scots can do that the way they play. They showed that how they played against England. So why not? Like we keep saying, this tournament throws up results. You know, so it's all on them. It kills me to say it, but it's all on them to stop the French getting that Grand Slam. And then you know, we'll have a pop at them as well in the last game. But yeah, when the Scots get going, you know, they play great rugby.
That'll do it for me, mate. We've just got the headline there right away. Mike Brown, everything. Fingers crossed for Scottish victory at Murrayfield. That'll do for me. That's the headline, mate. Thanks, Mike.
It's killing me, Ali, honestly.
Thanks for taking the time to join us, mate. All the best. Looking well.
Cheers, guys.
Take care. That was a recap of this weekend's Six Nations action, live with Funding Circle.
Guinness Six Nations review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. Supporting the supporters with fast, fair and hassle-free business finance solutions. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
I'll tell you why I'm not worried. Because if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, major, then it has to go. All right?
No, I disagree with that.
No, well, you would, wouldn't you? But we don't sack managers every other week.
But you can't sack a manager who gets to the latter stages of every competition. You can't. You can't.
You can when the pattern emerges.
You can sack them.
The pattern emerges. Chelsea did it.
It depends what they do.
They won things.
John,
okay, here's a question. Would you sack Arteta if they finish second in
well, what happens in the Champions League?
They lose in the final.
What happens in the Carabao Cup?
Lose in the final.
FA Cup?
Lose in the final.
No, mate, he's got to go. You can't
sack him.
You can't get to three
finals.
You can't get to three finals and finish second. You can't. That to me tells that is all the evidence. No, you well done. It's a little bit like what Claudio Ranieri done at Chelsea. Chelsea he finished second that season. We beat Arsenal in the semi-final, quarter-final of the Champions League. Got beat by Monaco. Jose comes in. We've gone from second to the quarter-finals to almost winning. We won the title, won the Carabao Cup.
Okay, that's just in the home straight, pal. 9:50. It is, of course, Monday the 23rd of February. talkSPORT Breakfast. Ally and Ray been with you this morning since 6 o'clock. Thoroughly enjoyed it too. And thanks to 3-time Six Nations winner with England, Mike Brown, just before the break. Did he say
Scotland?
Scotland. It was a rallying cry, Mike.
Well, do you know what, Ali? I was a little bit like Mike when you scored those 3 brilliant goals against Denmark.
Against Denmark.
And I was watching it in my front room and I jumped up. Because there were special goals and all, weren't they?
But sport does that.
McTominay's over a kick.
Incredible.
And Kieran, I know very well from Arsenal. Tierney, so pleased for him.
Great finish, Kieran.
And obviously, McLean.
They don't even talk about Tierney's are the other one. You know what I mean?
Great goal as well.
I mean, Shankland's got a tap in. The 2 goals, McTominay.
McTominay's was pick of the bunch, obviously.
Okay, mate, still time left in the show. We're going to have a bit of this.
And Wimbledon have moved out, and there's no flag from the linesman. Ray Parlour, his first goal for Arsenal.
One touch, get out his feet, Bob. What, nectarine?
Never heard of it.
It's a small, like a little orange.
Is it?
Nectarine.
I don't eat oranges.
Mark Overmars had this little fart machine.
What?
With a button. He goes,
pardon? Who is Gunnosaurus? Who is he to you?
What?
Is he related to you?
No. My brother is married to his daughter, but they're not together now. They've more or less split up.
Do they have an Invincible on Drive? I don't think so.
That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's time now for Yay or Nay, Ray.
Certainly is, Paul.
Oh.
Yay or nay, Ray. My highlight.
I mean, a few beers later, yay.
Oh, mate, I still love your one with him with that film.
Oh,
I see dead people.
But
that was my favourite. You and I did that show. It's my favourite of all time. Right, here we go. And all the questions are based on this weekend's action, pal. So all you need to do, obviously, is answer with a yay or a nay and tell us why. We're going to start with Tottenham. Igor Tudor's interim tenure got off to the worst possible start with a home 4-1 defeat to the Arsenal. The Croatian admitted after the game that there are big problems to be solved at Spurs.
He showed me that on Tuesday we need to start work hard and seriously, and change the habits, and trying to resolve the individual problems, because now in this moment the team is full of the problems. That's very evident, and the only key is work on the training day by day. Be humble, stay down, see what you can do. You need to start run. We need to start run more. We need to be more aggressive. We need to start to win the duels. We need to be more compact. We need to be more for concentration. These are the keys. Working on every day in the training to change bad habits.
Right, question, simple one.
Oh,
and I'm changing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Are Tottenham staying up? Yay or nay?
I think Forest are going to have a little run. West Ham have showed a bit of spirit now, playing well. I'm going to say they will stay up. I think they will get a couple of players back. Yeah. I should imagine. I think they've got a massive March. You asked me at the end of March, but there are 2 home games they've got coming up. They've got Crystal Palace at home, and they've got Nottingham Forest at home. If they can win both of those games, now Nottingham Forest will give them a game because they're in that relegation battle also, then they could be in big trouble. But I think they'll have enough to stay up.
Okay, mate. On to the Chelsea now. 3-away points drawn late to Burnley at Stamford Bridge. Wesley Fofana's second yellow. Wow. Means it's now 6 red cards from this season. I thought it was more than that, by the way. I thought it was 8.
I think it was 8, wasn't it?
I think it is. They're check it anyway. They're most in Premier League history. All-time most in... this maybe just Premier League games. The most, all-time most in Premier League history is 9 by Sunderland. Yay or nay, will Chelsea break the record by the end of the season for sending offs?
With the rules now, when was that, Ali? Sunderland?
2009, 2010.
I think the rules are a lot more against players now, and there's a lot, probably more sending offs, isn't there, than it was then. You get away with a couple of tackles, I should imagine, then.
Cool, I thought so.
9, 10. So I'm going to say, so they've got 3 more to get.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In how many games? They've got another...
12, is it?
Yeah, I don't think they'll beat that. No.
Oh, yeah.
So they've got to get a sending off 1 every 4 games, is that right?
They've got 11 games.
Yeah, 1 every 4 games. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Nay, they won't beat the record.
Fair enough.
They could equal it.
Run it close.
They won't beat it.
Okay, mate, that's fair enough. Right, here's the final one for you, mate, with 5 minutes to go in the show. Big Pounds. Big Pounds gave me a run around this morning on the phone lines. Have a listen to this. Back to the phone lines. Pounds is a delight. Is this his name? Ebbs. By the way, Ebbs. Well, by the way, it's an L and a B and a S written as Pounds. Ebbs. A very good morning. I'm sticking by it.
That's worse than I see dead people.
The listeners need to know that it was not IBS, it was written down in maths. It was an L, and it looked like pounds. Now, anybody's booth LBS is pounds. But it turns out, there's a bit of stick for it, to be fair. But it turns out I'm not the only presenter to be stitched up by the producers. Have a listen to this classic for Benty's boot room.
Let's go speak to that. I think it's Dave. He's from Livingston. Did I say it right, Dave?
Dave, mate.
Oh, I don't know. Someone spelled it like, I don't know. Honestly, I've never seen Dave spelled like this. How would you spell your name, Dave?
Can we call you Dave?
Well, it's quite a simple question, right? He's went Dative, right? Yea or nay, is Dative much worse than Pounds?
I've got to go.
By the way, it's spelled D-A-I-V, and he's went Dative. It's got to be Dave.
I've got to go, yeah. I'm going to stick up with you, Ali. It's got to be that one.
Me, brilliant.
But Al does it all the time. He just reads off the script. They spell it wrong.
Best ever. What was the one, Ed? Help me out. When Big Al read, and then he said spelt or something. What was it he said? He was talking about the actor. Oh, you must remember that one.
Classic.
Big Al's is the best.
You just don't read it first. He just reads it out.
Right. Big Al read it. He said bump, bump, bump. Joseph Fiennes. Pronounced Fiennes. Right. Ray, it's the best in history. It was written down. Right. Joseph Fiennes. Open bracket, put in brackets, pronounced F-I-N-E-S, Fiennes, close brackets, and he went Joseph Fiennes, pronounced Fiennes.
That's better, that one.
Oh, mate, how's your week looking? What are you up to today, mate?
I'm going to go, no, not a lot today. I'll probably go down the old rubber dub later for a couple. Talk about the weekend, what we got up to, and then looking forward to Wednesday.
Brilliant, mate.
Back on the golf course.
Oh, the weather's...
It's going to be a nice
Hey, the weather's picked up, mate.
16 degrees Wednesday.
Lovely.
Sun out. So we'll be on the golf course Wednesday, so looking forward to that. And then back on with Alan on Friday.
Brilliant, mate. Well, you have a good week. Thanks very much for the day.
Cheers, Ali.
As always, mate. It's 9:58. Hang around. Thank you very much for listening out there. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Tomorrow I'm going to be back alongside Gabby Agbonlor. Stay tuned, because up next, Sam, Simon and Martin will be holding the fort.
Wow, Joseph Fiennes Joseph Fiennes is nominated for Best Actor. What about that?